runs it in for the touchdown.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville, San Antonio's Sports Center.
The UTSA Roadrunners were selected to the Austin Regional as the number 2 seed in baseball, where they will compete against number 1 Texas, number 3 Kansas State, and number 4 Houston Christian. It all begins Friday in Austin. Roadrunners open up the postseason play against the 3rd-seeded Kansas State Wildcats. First game, 6 o'clock, Friday, May 30th.
Sports Center brought to you by Centergenics. Book your appointment at fixmylowteam.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Well, we're back after a long weekend. It's tough to get back. It's tough to get back.
Is it?
It is. It's hard to get back, but that's okay. We're back, and it is Tuesday instead of Monday. I'm liking that. This is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix is right there as well. Did you have a good weekend?
I had a great weekend. Did a brisket party for the kiddo for graduating. It was a fun weekend.
Yeah.
Fun weekend. And then yesterday took her to the airport, and then the skies opened up, and then I had to take her back to the airport today because she didn't go home yesterday.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it happens.
It does.
That was
You're going to get stuck somewhere, be stuck where you can go home.
Absolutely. A hell of a storm last night, man. We've gotten a lot of rain, it seems like, quite a bit, but it was a monster storm last night. I had a good time. I did make a good brisket. I had some of that brisket. It was delicious.
Yeah.
It was good. Party was good. Played a lot of golf, which is nice. And ran into something that is familiar about this time of year. Friend of mine.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Friend of mine.
Here we go.
Reminds me
Here
a
we
lot
go.
of Jason Minix.
Stop.
He's got his golf cart all longhorned out, longhorn stickers everywhere. He turns and looks at me as we're about to tee off, and he goes, Joe, Cowboys are going to be really good this year.
Here we go.
And I go, dude, you've been telling me that for 30 years, for goodness sake. Well, I haven't known the guy for 30 years, but as long as I've known him, he's been telling me the same thing. So all is right with the world. And that's the way I take it. All is right with the world. Cowboy fans are hopeful. They're optimistic. They're going to go to the Super Bowl this year.
We have established a championship program. It's just not the world championship yet.
What I love about you Cowboy haters, especially ones like you, I'm not a hater, but you are.
I'm a realist, unlike Cowboy fan.
Cowboy fans are realistic. I mean, the first time I heard this story, you said, man, Cowboys have done some good things this offseason.
They have.
There is nothing wrong with a Cowboy fan being excited this year about the moves Jerry made. No, at no point did your dude say, we're going to the Super Bowl.
No, I think he threw in a Super Bowl.
No, you implied
comment.
that.
I think he threw
which
that
is what
in.
every Cowboy fan does.
I think he
Texan
threw that in
fan
there.
can know we're excited about our team, but they know they're not going to the Super Bowl. You're a Titan fan.
Well, who in the world says that? I mean, Texans might go to the Super Bowl.
I mean, they all might.
I'm more optimistic about the Texans than I am the Cowboys.
It's because you're a hater.
I'm not a hater.
Really? So
I'm a realist.
Being a realist. You got Kansas City and that Mahomes guy. You got Josh Allen.
Yeah.
You got Burrow. You got Lamar.
Okay.
And you think there's more a realistic shot for the Texans than the Cowboys. The AFC road is so much tougher.
It is tougher.
Yes.
But the NFC is tough as well, and it got tougher this year. So, and that little division the Cowboys play in is tougher this year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But again, I don't know any of the Cowboy fans that I know. And I hear this story from you, and your buddy did not say we're going to the Super Bowl. He's excited about the offseason.
I thought he said Super Bowl.
No,
you
heard that because if a Cowboy fan says anything positive about him. Jerry, we're going to the Super Bowl.
Get him on the air, Pledge.
Jerry?
I'm just saying.
We get to suck on that all week.
Exactly. So I'm just saying. And again, I concede there's been some good moves. Pickens, that move is great.
Yep.
Some of the free agents they brought in, I'm excited about. Javonte Williams, I've said many times, I think he's going to be your RB1. I think he's going to have a great season. So I'm just saying, it's just I just appreciate the optimism of Cowboy fans.
Buy into us.
Yeah.
They've had a good offseason.
Okay.
There's reason. There's reason. No, they have had a good offseason.
Okay.
Especially compared to last year.
Well, dude.
But that doesn't mean I don't know anybody picking. I don't know one person that is picking the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl, let alone win the NFC East. That does not mean a Cowboy fan should not be excited about what Jerry has done this offseason. And that does not mean because there's excitement, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl.
I'm pretty sure that's implied.
It's not. It's only implied by you Cowboy haters.
It's implied. I'm telling you, it is. It's Super Bowl this year. Here we go.
No, nobody has said that.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, well, it is funny. What's funny is your reaction to anything. You know, Titans fans are upset because, you get the number 1 overall pick and no primetime games.
I don't give a damn about primetime games.
I mean,
the Tennessee Titans, I could care less.
I mean, I don't know. You go see some of the stuff on Cam Ward's page and all the different things that, his family gets tagged in, and there seems to be a lot of people, Titan fans, real ones, that are upset that they're not even at least getting primetime games.
They don't deserve primetime games, and anybody that's saying that is delusional.
Well, because they have the number 1 overall pick.
Well, that's great.
And wants to be showcased.
I wish nothing but the best for Cam Ward. I hope he has a hell of a season. I really do. But the Titans don't deserve primetime games. I mean, quite honestly, and I know why it's happening. So as soon as I say that, I know why. I don't know why the Cowboys are getting 6 primetime games, except for the reason the networks love them.
Well, because they're great for viewership.
That's it. And you either love them or you hate them. So either way, if they win, you're happy. One side's happy. If they lose, the other side's happy. And that's the way it is.
It's funny because noted Cowboy fan Stephen A. Smith. As much crap, and I it wasn't until, I don't know, the last week or two that I really put this together. But as much crap as that man gives Jerry Jones and Dallas Cowboy fans, as a Nick fan, he's just as bad. Nick fans are just as worse. And one of the greatest memes that I've seen, or memes, whatever you call them, after the Knicks went down 0-2 at the Garden. A nice picture of Tim Duncan, the last team to celebrate a championship at Madison Square Garden. Right? Think about that.
Yeah.
The drought for the Knicks is longer than it is for the Dallas Cowboys, yet Stephen A. Smith will talk all his crap about the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, here it is. And while I have nothing in common with Stephen A. Smith.
Nothing.
Other than the Cowboys are good for business. He knows they're good for his business because there's so many Cowboy fans. I know it's good for this business.
Yep.
So it's good for business. So that's why you follow them, and that's why they're on prime time 6 times during the season.
Yep.
Because they're good for business. So I'll give them that. They are the Super Bowl champions of good for business.
Always talk Cowboys.
That's it.
I mean, I believe that's actually taught in sports journalism school now. If you've got nothing else, talk Cowboys.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter if you're in San Antonio or Boise. If you talk Cowboys, people are going to have an opinion one way or the other.
There's no question about it, and that's the way it is. And again, they're good for business. Covering this team for a long time, 30-some-odd years. Well, not quite 30 years because since I've been covering the Cowboys, they haven't gone to an NFC championship game.
So it's your fault.
Maybe so.
You and Clarence Hill, as soon as you guys got on the beat, they haven't won anything.
Maybe that's it. And they're not going to win anything this year either. So maybe another 30 years. See, I'll be retired, so don't worry. Eventually I'll retire, and maybe the Cowboys will win a Super Bowl then.
That would piss you off.
It wouldn't piss me off.
It would piss you off.
Never. I love Jerry Jones. I'd like to see him win one before he goes. Just don't know.
It's funny. We were talking with the boss earlier, And he was like, is Jerry still alive? Because he follows sports very closely.
Yeah.
It was like AI Jerry might be running things at this point.
There's no question about it. And he said, well, is Steven anything like Jerry? I said, no, not at all. They're pretty different in personality, that's for sure. Oh, my goodness. It's funny. It's funny. You're the first guy I thought of when I heard my buddy say that yesterday. He sounded a lot like you, especially with his Longhorn stickers all over his golf cart.
Again, I mean, he says, your buddy sounds like a great dude.
He is a good dude.
I mean, he needs to pick better friends, obviously, but he sounds like a great dude.
Very good guy.
Longhorn fan, Cowboy fan.
Yeah.
Good people, man.
Unbelievable.
You keep good company.
Yeah.
And one day you're going to get educated. You're going to come around.
Arrogance. That's what it is.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is. Cowboys have had a pretty good offseason, though. I will give them that. And it could get better. How about a cornerback in the works?
So we're going to talk Cowboys coming up?
They just bought a house in Dallas.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
Does that make you think? On this Tuesday that feels like a Monday, that feels like a short week, and I'm happy about that. That's always a good thing, is it not? Cowboys, we are talking about that, and somebody they may go and pick up. And why is the NFL caving to Joe Burrow? Interesting. Talk about all of that when we continue right here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. Jason Minix here from San Antonio Sports Star. You can do that with Orchard. Orchard puts cash into your pockets. You can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday 1. Then you buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom, payday 2. Learn how you can make more with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
Since 1993, Thomas J. Henry dedicated himself to building a firm that injured clients can trust and respect. A firm backed by a track record of success and commitment to our clients. If you've been injured, trust Thomas J. Henry, San Antonio, Texas.
This Memorial Day, turn up the heat with the Home Depot. Find the perfect grill and patio set to keep the cookouts coming all season long. Grill up a feast with the Next Grill 4-burner gas grill, only $229. And complete your space with the stylish Glen Ridge Falls 7-piece dining set, now on special buy for just $499 with free delivery. Take your Memorial Day cookout to the next level all summer long with the Home Depot. See homedepot.com/delivery for more details.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning, life, and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-298-2007. That's 800-298-2007. 800-298-2007.
What? All the budget has to be used now? And we can use all the media buy?
Javier's marketing firm just got its dream funding.
Okay, ideas. Bobbleheads. No. T-shirt cannon. I seriously need some help here.
He needs to find marketing managers who are worth every dollar.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Sponsoring a job on Indeed gives it a visibility boost so you can hire faster. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
What? All the budget has to be used now? And we can use all the media buy?
Javier's marketing firm just got its dream funding.
Okay, ideas. Bobbleheads? No. T-shirt cannon? I seriously need some help here.
He needs to find marketing managers who are worth every dollar.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Sponsoring a job on Indeed gives it a visibility boost so you can hire faster. Redeem your
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1.
Do people still do barbecues on Monday? Or does any day work when it's Memorial Day weekend?
I think any day.
Did you barbecue yesterday?
I did not.
See that?
It's a recovery day.
You're the biggest barbecue dude I know. I didn't know if that's a thing. If you had the obligatory hot dog or hamburger or whatever the case may be, I'm not sure. I didn't get to do that yesterday. Oh, they did have some sausage, though.
From?
A grill.
Okay. Did you grill it?
No, I didn't grill it.
I think that counts. The official start of summer. No, I did a lot of grilling on Saturday.
Yeah.
Friday night with the brisket, and Saturday, some other stuff, getting ready for a party. Monday, I didn't do anything grill wise. But I do think a lot of people do, especially if you went to the lake, or if you're at the pool, a hot dog, a burger, whatever it is you chose to do. I would have done steak, except for my kid's in town, and she wanted to go eat because she's only in town a couple of places, so there's certain restaurants she likes to hit up.
Well, she doesn't eat steak.
And she doesn't eat steak.
I tried to force some brisket down her the other night. She wouldn't do it.
She won't.
No, I tried. I tried to talk her into it. And by the way, this is The Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe. He's Jason. It was good, and I got to hand it to you. Seriously, that brisket was fantastic. It really was. You cooked that thing, about 14 hours?
About 14 hours. A Wagyu brisket from Tri-County Meat Market.
Yep.
And seasoned with Meat Church, Holy Gospel. Then a little of the mix from Pinkerton's. And by the way, congrats to Graham Pinkerton. He won Best Beef at Memphis in May, 3-time now world champion at Memphis in May.
Wow.
And so a little bit of his blend mixing with the Holy Gospel from Meat Church, and brisket was solid.
That was tasty.
It was
tasty.
It was solid.
Yeah, it was very good. No doubt about it. It was a good weekend. Hope all of you had a great weekend, too. 3 days off. I hope everybody got that. Happy you're spending your Tuesday with us here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Before we get, I would say, Justin Guerrero's giving me crap on you, too.
He is.
Minix wears gloves to break down his brisket.
Why wouldn't you?
He's saying I'm losing 10 points. Now, I will say I'm serving that for other people. I think most people appreciate the fact that you're using gloves while handling their food, even though I'm very clean. But I only use the gloves when I know other people are going to eat. If I'm doing, because I don't know, what do you think? 50 some odd people were coming over to the house. I know there are some people out there that I don't mind using gloves. I don't always use gloves if it's just me and my family. But I don't understand why I'm losing 10 points for using gloves.
Well, your family might appreciate you using gloves too. By the way,
it's possible. But but sometimes you use gloves if you're slicing a bunch of stuff and a lot of people are going to eat it. Or I don't know if it's really hot and you'd rather not burn your hands.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, I wear gloves when I do all of that stuff. And, you get the meat off of the grill. I wear those good ones that I got. Our good friend, not Meat Church.
Gulf Coast Smoke.
Gulf Coast Smoke.
Yep.
I use those all the time. But, I've got a big box of those surgical gloves.
Yeah, and then you put the little knit ones on there, then the plastic over or whatever it is. And, so you don't burn your hands. But also, when you're feeding a bunch of people, keep it clean.
Justin, I'm not sure why there's points taken away, my friend.
Yeah, I wash my hands too. I'm actually very clean. I wash my knife from between the brisket and the other stuff that I was slicing because it's what I do. But to lose tens makes me question your barbecue.
Well, I'm not sure. It just -10 from who?
From Justin.
Yeah,
he said -10. Butchers are professional meat cutters and they use gloves.
Exactly. I'm not sure. I've never heard you lose points for not using gloves.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. And everybody at the party appreciated you wearing gloves. Although I didn't know.
You wouldn't have known.
I saw your picture on the.
Yeah. Exactly. I don't know.
Probably wouldn't have given a damn.
No, you wouldn't have.
But I appreciate it. The brisket was good. It was damn good.
That's all that matters.
Dude, let me tell you. I got excited about this when I saw it over the weekend. Jalen Ramsey has bought a house in the Dallas area, and it's a big one. It's one of those multi-million dollar houses. And that all of a sudden the rumors started to fly. Jalen Ramsey coming to the Dallas Cowboys.
Now, doesn't appear that there's anything to this. Every Cowboys source says there's nothing to it. Keep in mind, he might be buying a house for somebody else. Remember that big old house he had in Los Angeles? Maybe he sold that. And what's that tax you get if you don't reinvest it soon enough? Maybe he needed another property to take whatever he sold in California. And who doesn't want a house in Texas, property in Texas? And that's all it could be. But, yeah, apparently he did buy a house in Texas. Doesn't mean he's about to be a Dallas Cowboy. But this weekend, June 1st, and, a lot, if you go and you look at the free agents that are post-June 1 cuts, and all those veteran guys, dudes in their 30s that are used to making a lot of money that are still unemployed, and there's a long list of those free agents, and Jalen Ramsey is one of those. So is a guy like Mike Hilton, who might be a better, more affordable option because free agent versus a trade.
Well, a trade, and Ramsey's guaranteed $24 million this year, so not sure the Cowboys want to do that. I don't think there's anything to it either, but if there's still a position the Cowboys need to address, it's that one. It's cornerback, and I'm not sure that they're completely comfortable with what they have there now going into the season.
With that, well, there's a couple of things as we are approaching June. What is the real season outlook for Trayvon Diggs, right? Could he be ready for training camp September, October? The draft pick coming off an injury, who says he is healthy. We're guessing right now the Cowboys should have a better real idea. But let's also go back to what Jerry said. He was working on a couple of major drafts, major moves, and he said that around the draft. A couple. Well, George Pickens is done. That's one. Couple is generally more than one. Most people would define a couple as two. So
yes,
could Jalen Ramsey, who tweets out today, 5. And there are 5 days until June 1.
Yeah.
So start reading the tea leaves.
But he's going to get traded, most likely.
Yes.
It's just to where?
Well, and you look at, he's already been given his $4 million roster bonus, so doesn't that bring his money down to $20 million from $24, which, again, Cowboys have the cap room to go get a Jalen Ramsey if that's how they wanted to spend what they have left. But you've got your short-term, low-risk, high-reward, one-year receiver. Are you going to invest that kind of money in a running back, in in a cornerback that you could have had at the draft, but you went running back instead. Remember, it was Zeke and then Jalen Ramsey in that 2016 draft. And you go look at that 2016 draft class, most of those guys not named Derrick Henry, who was in the second round, they're done. Their careers are over or damn near over. Do you really want to spend that kind of money on Jalen Ramsey this year?
Well, it depends, I guess, right? I mean, if you're going 1 year with George Pickens, if Jerry and the Cowboys brass think that this is their version of going all in and trying to make a run this year, then yeah, you make that move. Because again, I think you hit the nail on the head, and we talked about it last week. Pickens is most likely a 1-year guy. He's going to go somewhere else after this year because he's going to get paid like a number one receiver, even though he is technically a number one receiver according to the Dallas Cowboys. But they're not going to pay him the kind of money that CeeDee Lamb's making or more than that, which it will probably be if we wait until next year. So Pickens is a 1-year guy. Ramsey could be a 1-year guy too. And if you think that's all you need to give you a legit shot at making a run, then yeah, I think you go do it.
If you feel in your Jerry Jones, and again, with Jerry Jones trying to figure out what he might do in his realistic options, Pickens makes the Cowboys offense better. Jalen Ramsey, you would think, would make the Cowboys defense better.
Absolutely.
But does that put them over the top, like Super Bowl contending team?
No.
Then why would you do that?
Well,
and I say that, every other they've made a lot of minor moves to get better, and again, realistically, and you call me the biggest Cowboy homer out there. They're going to be good, probably a playoff team, but are they a Super Bowl team? No. Does Jalen Ramsey make them a Super Bowl team? They've signed a lot of 1-year deals with veteran guys that will get through. They're going to be better this year, but those aren't long-term solutions because the Cowboys like to draft and develop and then pay those guys and then fill in the gaps with short, contracts. Jalen Ramsey doesn't put you over the top as being a Super Bowl guy, so I don't see Jerry going with a $20 million corner, knowing that you're already paying Diggs that money and you don't know what kind of production you're going to get from him because of injury. If that move does not say, yes, this is the difference between us being really good and a Super Bowl contending team. Everybody else on a 1-year deal, they're short and they're cheap.
Ramsey and Diggs are basically in the same spot. I mean, Diggs, after this year, the Cowboys can get rid of him, and it's not a big hit. So they're basically in the same situation. And think about the free agents they brought in here. Most all of them are on 1-year deals. And so I don't know. It baffles me sometimes how Jerry works. I'm not sure about all the 1-year deals. Is it just to see if maybe these guys can do something and resurrect their career, and then you sign them again? I'm just not sure exactly what's going on there. But when it comes to Ramsey and Trayvon Diggs, hell, if he's close to being there, maybe the Dolphins will take him in return.
I doubt that. I mean, and then the other thing that you look, I'd almost rather, if I think Diggs' health is going to actually improve and he can be what he is, I'd rather stick it out with Diggs because he's just younger. His upside is far different than Jalen Ramsey at the end of his career. And again, Jalen Ramsey, don't get me wrong, I'd love to have that guy, but at the cost and whatever it might take, unless he gets cut. But if you're trading for him, but you look at Mike Hilton, solid slot corner. He's been making a lot of money, but I don't know that he's going to make that kind of money moving forward just because of age. Rasul Douglas, he's also available. And again, for a number 3 corner option, there are cheaper ways to go. And I'm not saying that's what I would do, but I'm trying to put myself into what Jerry and Steven has historically done, and that's gone the cheaper route. And so I wouldn't get overly excited about Jalen Ramsey. I would look at a Rasul Douglas. I would look at a Mike Hilton and think those would be more.
Jason, he bought a house in Dallas. Come on. Come on.
I mean,
read the tea leaves.
Every rich dude needs a tax write-off.
Dallas is a nice city.
I mean, Derrick Henry had a house in Dallas, and the Cowboys didn't even call him.
Well,
right?
Exactly.
I mean, People buy a house at the coast all the time. That doesn't mean they're living there full time.
No, but they visit from time to time.
Well, and he'll visit from time to time. I mean, a lot of NFL guys live in Dallas because so many of those NFL trainer types are based out of there.
I just wonder what they're going to do. Are they going to stick with what they've got and hope that Chaean Carson, plays the way he began the season last year? Or
possible.
The kid they drafted, Siobhan Ravel, I mean, do you expect something from him his rookie year? And then you got the other dude from the Dolphins that, I don't know, mixed reviews on him, at least coming from the Miami side of things, which doesn't mean anything because a year could change all of that. But I wouldn't feel too comfortable look, Ravel's your future, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that guy's your future. I'm not sure if he's your right now.
Well, and again, he's got to be healthy. Now, the Cowboys doctor did his surgery, so they feel pretty good about that knee and the reports they're getting from the doctor. Elam, questionable at best. But again, new system, new environment, maybe maturity. Maybe that's what he needed. But I don't know when I see all these Jalen Ramsey reports. Now, granted, one of them started with Jeremy Fowler from ESPN, who isn't known to throw stuff out there just for clicks.
Mm-hmm.
But it almost feels like this one, just Jerry said this. He's done one move. He said more than one. What else could there be? Jalen Ramsey, we know, is trying to get out of Miami. And so why not throw the Cowboys on there?
I just want it to happen. So that way, when I see my Cowboy friends, they'll say, Joe, really like the offseason. It's Super Bowl this year.
Your definition of what is all in and mine might not be the same thing.
Mm-hmm. They might as well just cancel the season if they sign Jalen Ramsey. It's over. Nobody else has got a chance.
One day they're going to prove you wrong and actually go trip into one of those.
While I'm alive?
Yeah.
While I'm alive?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Cowboys. We'll see what they do.
We're a damn good football team.
Because, yeah, you're right. June 1st is going to be an interesting time when some of these things just might take place. That's going to be a lot of fun. Tell you what was a lot of fun. It was last night's basketball game.
Finally.
Oklahoma City and Minnesota. My goodness, what a game. But does that put a fork in the Timberwolves? We'll talk about that when we continue here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, the best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text BAIL to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They are discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. If you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
I'm solo again. Did the Knicks manage it, or are the Pacers marching toward the NBA Finals? We'll look at what went down. We'll get you ready for more playoff action. And the NFL is just 100 days away. We're talking about it. Get here early. The party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you?
I just wanted to request a late checkout, please.
Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours.
Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours.
Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds, through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
During National Military Appreciation Month, we at University of Maryland Global Campus say thank you to the service members, veterans, and families who dedicate their lives to our country. We are deeply grateful. For over 75 years, UMGC has proudly served the military community, from installations overseas to the communities you call home. Wherever you serve, we stand with you. Learn more at umgc.edu/thanks. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Barbecue season is back. Hey, it's Ellen.
And this is Sarah Beth.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that zesty barbecue sauce. I love that it was a little sweet, a little tangy, and with the mac and cheese,
I feel like I tasted the brown sugar bacon first. It was the absolute best combination. Pro tip, 3 sandwiches are always better than 1.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and our Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in experience and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
So I don't know, Minix. Apparently, according to San Antonio Express News, we got 2 inches of rain yesterday.
Only 2?
2 inches. Now, who knows, right? I mean, I don't know. You might have got some more at your house or mine or pledges or whatever, but 2 inches. So I say that because apparently we're going into stage 5 water restrictions.
Yep.
What the hell is stage 5?
The next one.
Well, it's bad, I guess. I mean, it seems like we've had a lot of rain this year, does it not?
It seemed like we got a lot of rain last night. We saw all the
Thursday night. We got a lot of rain.
All the flooding. But then again, then they're going to tell us, well, it didn't rain in the right spot, right? Because it's got to rain. I don't know. Drives me nuts. Like my neighbor, he just put in a whole bunch of new grass, and he's all worried about because he can only hand water. And I think, dude, you got a sprinkler system. Use it. You just put in grass. I think there's an exception to the rule.
Yes, there is.
But, he's afraid. He's not a rule breaker. And I'm like, dude, it's your backyard. Figure it out. Because you just spent a lot of money on new grass.
Well, you're not kidding. You're not kidding. I mean, and that's not cheap. I was just curious about that, what everybody thought about that. Now, Santos says he got almost 3 inches by his house at Calabria in Westover Hills.
Bragger.
So if we got 2 inches, I guess that's cool. I mean, they told me the other night in Kerrville they got 6.
Well,
and isn't that they're like the recharge area?
Maybe.
I thought it was.
Well, it is until it's not. You know, they get all the rain. They're like, nah, it had to be over yonder. I don't know. I mean, you look at some of these lakes. I know Pledge was out at Canyon Lake over the weekend. It's down. You see some of the photos when we were in Austin a couple of weeks ago. Lake Travis is just like there's islands I didn't know existed.
Wow.
So I get it, but at the same time, I like green grass.
Well, yeah, I guess, but it's kind of like where your daughter lives in Phoenix. A lot of those places won't allow grass.
Mm-mm.
You got to have rocks.
Well, it's not they won't allow it. Won't grow.
Won't grow.
Won't grow.
It's crazy. So I saw that, and I thought, man, that's kind of weird. It just seems like we're getting a lot of rain, but I guess we need a lot of rain. So there is that, I suppose.
I don't know. It's just that I'm more worried about all the hail, and I'm glad that we didn't get that hail at our house because I saw some people posting pictures bigger than baseball. One guy used to work on television in San Antonio, Sean Stevens. He put a pool ball next to his hail. Anybody want to play billiards? I was like, holy cow. That's scary.
Well, dude, I was actually sitting out on my back patio last night watching the basketball game. We got a little bit of hail. Wasn't much, but it was just a little small pea-sized stuff. But you could hear it hitting the ground, and
yeah,
it was weird. It was a nice, cool night though to sit out there and watch basketball.
I mean, for end of May, heat-wise,
yes,
not bad.
It was very cool, and saw a great game
finally
last night. My goodness, that game was good. And you're right, finally, because Game 3 was over in the first quarter. Oklahoma City, well, we're not even going to show up for this one.
All 3 of the first 3 games were all blowouts. So it was nice when you're talking about the conference finals actually have a competitive basketball game.
It was, and I tell you what, SGA that guy proves every game why he is the best player in basketball, at least this year. He is the MVP. He was making plays and just saving balls and making shots when they absolutely had to have them, and because Ant didn't actually play very well last night.
Well, I mean, you might not think he played well. Anthony Edwards thought he was just fine.
I don't look at it like I struggled or he struggled. They had a good game plan, making us get off the ball. Especially for me, man, they was super in the gaps. I made the right play all night, so I don't really look at it like I struggled. I didn't get enough shots to say I struggled, so that might be how you guys look at it. But yeah, I didn't struggle at all. It's just I made the right play.
Yeah, he had 13 shots last night, made 5 of them, 16 points. He also, he referred to, Julius Randle, who was 1 of 7, but he didn't struggle either. And again, an off night by Anthony Edwards, they lose by 2 in a game that they really needed to have. Some might say it was damn near a must-win game.
Well, some might say that.
Some might say that.
But I wouldn't. Look, it's going to be tough for them now. They're going to go back to Oklahoma City. That arena is going to be rocking. And I think that series is all done. I really do. And I look, I like Anthony Edwards, but I don't know the demeanor of Anthony Edwards, especially saying that. I mean, it's like I don't know. I just where's the immediacy? Where's the where's that passion? I didn't see any of that from him.
1 of 7 from 3, but he didn't struggle. And he didn't take enough shots. Finishes with 16 points. Now, McDaniels played great last night. DiVincenzo played great last night.
Time.
And started making threes, right? But when you look at, they lost that game by 2. And you had a night where there were times just watching in the moment before I heard this soundbite, I thought that Anthony Edwards was making the right basketball play, but other times where I thought he needed to be more aggressive in keeping the ball and either driving in and getting a shot up, trying to get to the free throw line, which he doesn't do enough, especially when you watch SGA, who, damn near triple-double last night, but he had 40 points on 30 shots, right? So I don't know, you could argue whether he had a great game or not. He scored a lot of points, but did he have a great game? 13 of 30 isn't necessarily a great night, but He got to the free throw line. He had 12 points at the line, and at one of those misses damn near cost him at the end. But at the same time, that's what I think Timberwolves fans want out of Anthony Edwards, that kind of aggressive play, which you don't see. Again, there are times where I do think, yeah, he's making the right basketball play, but is that the right play for his team? Should he be more aggressive as opposed to passing it out?
Well, and he said it himself. He didn't get enough shots. So whose fault is that? Now, look, Oklahoma City's great defensively, and they're doing a good job on him defensively. But somebody, when you go to that huddle at a timeout, I mean, there are plays designed to get guys open. All right, and I know even against the best defensive teams, guys can get open. And if you're gonna, I mean, you got to find a way. You're one of the best ball players in the NBA right now. You got to find a way to get open and find a way to get those shots. And 13 shots. I'm not saying he needs to take 30 shots, but he certainly needs to be in the 20s when he is their guy. And he's not getting it done. You could make an argument if he just shows up or Randall shows up, then they win that game. We got a tie series. But instead, they're going back to OKC for the funeral.
No, and again, you say for the funeral. Now down 3-1.
Right.
Now, granted.
It's over.
Oklahoma City, they look unbeatable. They're going to win a championship, right?
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah. They're going to win a champion. But at least we will have a must-win game. But when you look at it, I mean, you're right. Anthony Edwards, who at this point last year, and they lost, was kind of being groomed as he's going to be the next superstar.
Uh-huh.
And to come back, get to the same spot, but you're one of the reasons your team isn't going to advance because you didn't show up big in the big-time moments. That's going to be tough for, I think, a guy like Anthony Edwards to handle because, you know, he has not elevated his game on the biggest stage.
That's exactly right. And again, when you go back to SGA, that guy was doing everything he could do last night to not lose that game. He was making the plays that needed to be made. And I'm talking about hustle plays that just had to be done at the right time, and he did that. And that's why they've got a 3-1 lead, and that's why the series is over. It's going back to OKC. It will not get back to Minnesota for a Game 6.
Will not.
Will not.
Will not.
No.
And they'll all be wearing the T-shirts there in Oklahoma City.
Oh, and that place will be unbelievably loud.
I saw a news clip on social media about the T-shirt company in Oklahoma City that prints those shirts for every game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of the design, the printing, they do that in about 48 hours, but they have, you know, almost 100 different designs ready to go for every game, and then all of them get printed by hand, all hands on deck, and obviously great for that local business owner. But everybody wears them, and I'm always curious. Like I remember one time at a Golden State game, they kept flashing on the billboard, on the Jumbotron, encouraging people to put on the shirts. And when we were at the finals in Miami, they did that. I don't know that we don't do that here in San Antonio, but you wonder if there's some sort of peer pressure to make sure everybody in Oklahoma City wears the shirts.
Well,
because
sure.
they do it better. But I mean, are they forcing their fans to do it, or does everybody just do it because it's the thing to do?
Well, it's the thing to do. It's what everybody should do. Look, I remember a time where they're putting people on the Jumbotron in here in San Antonio and telling them to put the shirt on. I can remember those days clearly.
Yeah, because I remember it in Miami. I don't remember it happening here, the encouragement, like, we're going to shame you into wearing your shirt. Did we do that here?
Yes.
All right. It's
absolutely.
been so long since we've had T-shirt games in San Antonio.
It's been a long time. The problem is, see, people get all dressed up in their nice stuff, and and they're best, and they're looking good, and they're coming to socialize, and but you want to put a white T-shirt on? Come on, I'm not doing that. It took me 3 hours to get ready. Come on. 3 hours. I'm looking all fine.
For those of you on YouTube, and somebody grab that clip and turn Joe into a meme, you can go rewind on the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. I don't know what that little shimmy was.
Well, it was just a little dance. I mean, you know, it's like just a little.
Yeah, but you were trying to shimmy as if you had breasties, and you don't.
I'm looking good. Well,
you were trying to squeeze them together, and they're not squeezable.
Reminded me of Steve Martin, just two wild and crazy guys.
I just put them on. But see, Oklahoma City, what the hell? That T-shirt's probably have a lot better than anything they got on to go to the game.
Stop. It ain't Kentucky.
Well, it's Oklahoma. I mean, same thing, is it not?
I mean,
yeah, it is.
You know,
same thing. Mm-hmm.
More or less teeth.
Love you. Well, I don't know. It'd be a contest. Then you turn around to Arkansas, and you got Alabama, and all them good southern states. But they'll wear them. They'll definitely wear them tomorrow night, and it will be rocking in there without a doubt. No question about it. Tonight, New York's got an opportunity to tie that series up with Indiana. And New York has been a better road team, it seems like. And it doesn't seem like, it's a fact, than at home during these playoffs.
You know what I find interesting? And I saw this stat. It might have been on McAfee earlier. Indiana's lost every game 3 this postseason.
Yes.
That's
crazy.
Now, granted, they're 0-3. They've only, but to lose every game 3 is kind of weird.
It is kind of weird. By the way, Halliburton's dad will be allowed in the building tonight.
Uh-huh.
That's is that going to make all the difference?
You know, the NBA is just soft. They're going to have him in a suite.
Uh-huh.
And I would imagine there's going to be Pops Cam.
What's the over and under for the amount of shots? Is it going to be Taylor Swift-like?
Well, no. But, you know, poor guy has to go up to a suite instead of courtside. Poor guy.
Yeah. I'd rather be in a suite.
Than courtside?
Yes.
I mean, bathroom is closer.
Exactly.
But you're further away from the action.
Yeah, well, it's okay. There's a monitor in there.
But the attention is going to be all over this guy. And it'll be interesting. I wonder what we'll see on the national broadcast. But I imagine in the arena, it will be there. But even like McAfee was saying, you know, the free Pops T-shirts and different things like that. You know, he's become more of a local celebrity for this, and I can't believe the NBA is letting him go back to a game this soon.
Look, I guarantee you he's going to get applause out the yin tonight. I'm telling you, he will. This guy will be applauded by the hometown fans and cheered and all of that kind of stuff. So he's going to be treated like a hero.
He is. And again, I'm not surprised that the NBA is letting them in.
Well, who do you like?
I like Indiana.
I like Indiana too. I think Indiana played one of their worst games of the playoffs in Game 3 and still almost won that game. So I just don't think New York's got it, man. I just don't. And I think Indiana's a good team, and I can't wait to see Oklahoma City and Indiana in the finals. I think it's going to be a great series.
Although tonight, that's on the second TV because the Dallas Stars taking on Edmonton, and they need to rebound a big time after getting crushed in Game 3.
They did. Maybe it's because I was watching. I actually watched that game.
No, he was texting me during the game. He did watch.
Or a portion of it anyway. Yeah.
Until it got bad.
Yeah.
But he was watching.
I did.
He was texting.
Yep.
He was watching.
Uh-huh.
Give you credit. You're going to watch tonight?
I'm going to be watching basketball probably. Maybe I'll flip over there. I don't know. Dallas is in trouble. This is almost like a must-win. Is it not for the Dallas Stars?
It would be very nice. Yeah. I would say this is a must-win. They got to get healthy. They've got to solve that goaltender of Edmonton. Because once things start going bad for Dallas, they do. One thing about Bennington, he's generally a pretty good rebound goalie.
Well, they've lost 2 in a row.
Yes.
Yeah. When's he going to rebound?
Well, hopefully tonight.
I'm saying.
Although I will say, he's got to get better help defensively in front of him because that defense for Dallas has left a lot of open shots or big old rebounds that aren't getting cleared. And that's a problem for the Dallas Stars. Not all on the goalie.
All right, well, it's in old Canada.
Yes.
Hey?
There we go.
Hey? Edmonton. That place will be rocking tonight.
One of the loudest arenas in the NHL.
Well, there you go. It will be rocking, that's for sure. Got a question for you. Would you be upset if Aaron Rodgers retired?
No.
I wouldn't. I'm cheering for it, and I hope it happens. We'll talk about that when we come back. It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I think he's a bum.
KTFM Floresville. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Your home for the Blitz. 2 to 6 on YouTube and always at sasportstar.com.
Celebrate youth sports with the San Antonio Brahmas. The Herd returns to the Alamo Dome Sunday, June 1st to take on the Arlington Renegades in their final home game of the season. Celebrate the future of sports as they highlight young athletes, players, and coaches in their Celebrate Youth Sports game. Bring the family and enjoy the fun with local community mascots, a halftime youth flag football showcase, and of course, Brahmas football. Get your tickets at UFLBrahmas.com. That's UFLBrahmas.com. Our town, our team, our herd.
This month, law enforcement will be cracking down on drivers and passengers who aren't buckled up. Here's why.
I responded to a crash on the highway where a pickup flipped over multiple lanes of traffic. The driver of the vehicle was missing, and we actually found him underneath the vehicle, unfortunately deceased on scene.
We write seatbelt tickets to save lives.
Out of all the wrecks that I've worked, I've never had to unbuckle a dead body.
Officers are out in force, writing seatbelt citations that can add up to $200. Click it or ticket. This message brought to you by the Texas Department of Transportation.
Watching Clorox cleanup spray dissolve tough grime in the shower feels like...
Wait, this really just happened? I'm shocked. Underwear and everything?
It feels like being able to zip up your overpacked suitcase on the first try.
Smooth.
With Clorox, clean feels satisfying. Clean feels good. Use as directed.
Out here, you'll find a community of hardworking creators with loyal followers, along with proud moments worth sharing. And farm to table, well, that's just supper. And whether it's a raised garden bed, acres of land, or something for your animals, we've got all the supplies and are happy to share a little know-how.
Welcome to Tractor Supply. Into life out here.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-499-9102. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-499-9102. That's 800-499-9102. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
George gets justice. The accident wasn't your fault, but now you're facing pain, bills, and uncertainty. You don't have to do it alone at George Salinas Injury Lawyers. They listen, explain your options, and fight for what you deserve. No upfront costs, no stress, just real help when you need it. If you've been injured, it's time to get George. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
The UTSA Roadrunners are headed to the Austin Regional in college baseball. They will go in as the number 2 seed. They'll open up postseason play against third-seeded Kansas State. First game of the regional tournament, 6 o'clock Friday night. NBA playoffs continue tonight in Indianapolis. The Pacers, they lead the New York Knicks 2-1. Tip-off set for 7 o'clock. You can catch that game right here on 94.1, beginning at 6:30.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. A Tuesday that feels like a Monday, but it's really a Tuesday because we had a holiday yesterday. So that's a good thing. I hope you're all confused, but I'm happy you're here with us. Appreciate you spending a part of your Tuesday right here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe. That's Jason. And we're recovering from a little 3-day weekend. It was a very good weekend. A lot of fun. But it's good to be back.
Yeah, and again, it's a short week, but we get a fun field day on Friday because we're going to be at the Globe Life Field. I almost said ballpark in Arlington. We'll be at Globe Life for Rangers Cardinals Friday afternoon.
Can't wait for that. I'm looking forward to that. We'll be doing the Blitz there from 2 to 6 inside the ballpark, and then we're going to stick around and watch a little Cardinals baseball.
What?
Yeah, Cardinals baseball. Stick around and watch a little Cardinals baseball.
Rangers baseball.
Cardinals baseball.
Rangers.
Uh-huh.
Rangers and Cardinals. They're both going to be playing.
Oh, okay. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. It's kind of become an annual thing for us. Go up and watch a Cardinals game.
Sure. We'll go to a Rangers game every year. We just kind of plan it when your Cardinals are playing because we're nice.
Well, that's extremely nice. And do you blame them? I mean, it's a big game.
And if you're one of the 5 that won tickets to the game, make sure you hit us up on social media. Let us know where you guys are at and, all that good stuff.
Minix
at Joe Reinagel 210. So. Dump that pledge. At Jason Minix. Yes. You can find me. I'm going to snag Joe's credit card. He won't have any idea.
Yeah.
And he left it at my house on Saturday, so I was going to give it back to him at the when we're flying home.
Dude, I would fall for that, but there was absolutely no reason for me to pull my credit card out of your house. So, very small chance of that. Not to mention the fact that, that was Saturday night. I used it on Sunday and Monday.
You got more than one.
Yeah.
You got more than one.
I do, but safe and sound, folks.
Let's do the Headline Blitz.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. 2 guys, 2 opinions, never enough time.
So, what is music to Joe's ears? Aaron Rodgers is willing to consider retirement.
Willing to consider. What a nice guy.
I think he's a bum.
As a Packer.
Uh-huh.
There's part of that. All options are on the table for Aaron Rodgers, including retirement. And Pittsburgh continues to say they are going to wait until he makes the decision. But somewhere along the way in one of these podcasts, he's been doing all these podcast tours where he's not talking about his real NFL future. In other words, when are you going to sign with Pittsburgh? But it was brought up, would you retire as a Packer? That ceremonial one-day deal. And he said, if they asked,
sure.
I would consider it.
Absolutely.
If they asked.
If they ask, and will they ask? And I guess they probably should. I mean, he was the face of that franchise for a long time. Won him a Super Bowl. Got him deep in the playoffs several times. MVP 4 times. So, I mean, I think it's only reasonable. But I got to tell you something. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, They showed a video today of Steelers OTAs that just began, and you got Will Howard and Mason Rudolph out there as your quarterbacks.
So you're willing to wait for Aaron Rodgers, are you?
Will Howard and Mason Rudolph. Now, Will Howard may turn out to be something. Who knows? But he's a rookie. And Mason Rudolph, while he's a serviceable backup, he's not a starter.
Yeah. Now, he did say, quote, Aaron Rodgers, when I retire in 4 years, I'm going into the Packer Hall of Fame. May or may not get my number retired. Whether they do or not, that's fine. But in 4 years, I'll be in the Packer Hall of Fame. There's a lot of love from me and how I feel about the team. You know, it is interesting because he should be in the Packer Hall of Fame. And quite honestly, they should retire his number 12, the Green Bay Packers. And they've done that with Brett Favre.
Wasn't Bart Starr number 12?
No, because Aaron Rodgers was number 12.
Yes, so. Why do I think Bart Starr was?
He was 5, wasn't he?
Number 6?
15?
Oh, 15. Okay, all right.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, Bart Starr before my time. But, I mean, when you look at, because Aaron Rodgers is following the Brett Favre game plan, Brett Favre, still after everything that went down, had his jersey retired and is in the Packer Hall of Fame. And I imagine, even though Aaron Rodgers is kind of weird and it felt like that was a messy, messy divorce, they're still going to honor him. I'm just curious how Packer fans feel about him when you think about the Aaron Rodgers years. Sure, he won a lot of MVPs, but he only won 1 Super Bowl. And it's weird because we judge everybody by Super Bowls, but it feels like with Aaron Rodgers, it wasn't enough. A lot of NFC championship games, incredible numbers, but 1 Super Bowl for him, and it almost doesn't feel like that's enough.
Well, you know, it's interesting because you think about an Aaron Rodgers, and then you think about a Dan Marino, who everybody considers one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history.
Yep.
Never won a Super Bowl.
Nope.
Never did. Went to one his rookie year, and they lost. But he never won a Super Bowl, but still considered. Charles Barkley, considered one of the best basketball players to ever play. Never won a championship.
Nope.
So I don't know. I mean, is that how we judge people? I think it should be because it is professional sports. It's not, kitty tiddlywinks. You know, I mean, it's
kitty tiddlywinks.
It makes a difference, and the object is to win a championship. So that's how they should be judged, but a lot of players aren't.
You know, when you look at, and again, quarterbacks get judged that way, and only quarterbacks. And there are quarterbacks out there like a Warren Moon who never seem to be penalized for not winning the Super Bowl. Other players, and sometimes it's on your franchise, if you don't win a Super Bowl as a quarterback, you weren't considered great. When you look at Jim Kelly for a long time, took a lot of heat for losing 4 Super Bowls, and now all of a sudden it's like, dude, you got to 4 of those in a row. That was pretty impressive.
I'll take you back further than that. Fran Tarkenton with the Minnesota Vikings, 4 Super Bowls, never won one of them. So it's interesting. Minnesota and Buffalo need to meet in the Super Bowl because somebody's going to break the snide, right? I mean, somebody will.
I mean, but when you look at it and you think about, and I realize, and I'm going to do what I expect everybody else to do, and that's just bring it back to the Cowboys. The Cowboys get judged differently than everybody else. But then you go and you look around and you look at Lamar takes a lot of heat for not getting that team yet to a Super Bowl. And if he doesn't, Justin Herbert to a degree gets some heat for not even getting into the playoffs. But, some people, 1 Super Bowl doesn't feel enough. Others, man, that's all it takes to guarantee you're getting a gold jacket. Yeah, Jim Plunkett has 2 and no gold jacket.
Well, and that's a travesty.
Yes,
that's another story. Look, I just think that that's how it should be. Now, look, long playoff runs I think are important. You don't think they are because I've always said, hey, if Dak can get to an NFC Championship game, even if he loses, I'll give him a little bit of a break. But I'm just saying, long championship runs matter, and I think when you're talking about Aaron Rodgers, I think that helps. Now, he's criticized for losing some of those NFC Championship games at home, and I can see that. I think that's fair. But, leading a team to a long playoff run and championship games, I think matters. Super Bowls are the ultimate goal, obviously, but if you're relevant every year, I think that matters.
Well, and I agree with that. The reason I say I don't think it would matter for Dak unless he wins a Super Bowl, and for Dak Prescott, maybe 2, because if he has one good playoff run, there are enough people out there that would say, well, this or that happened and he tripped into it. Can he do it again?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's start with one.
Even you say you'd get off his back if he went to an NFC championship game. If he got to an NFC championship game and they lost and he threw an interception, got to the big stage and choked. There are guys that get judged differently, and nobody gets judged as harshly as Dak Prescott.
That brings up something else, Jason. Really, because I'm Twitter a minute ago, and people are like, well, look at these stats compared to these guys. Dak's right up there, and Dak's this. And why do Cowboy fans feel like you have to protect Dak Prescott?
Well, we're Cowboy fans. Because he gets judged differently than others.
Well, so did Tony Romo.
So did because he's a Cowboy quarterback. When you look at the numbers Justin Herbert puts up, he doesn't get near the criticism that Dak Prescott gets.
Well, I don't know what they're feeling in San Diego or Los Angeles about him or what they're saying about him. I don't know.
But just from a national media standpoint,
No.
I mean, Cowboy quarterbacks get judged differently and have been. Danny White. Let's go back before there was something called Twitter or Facebook or even MySpace. Danny White gets hammered all the time because he did not, as quarterback, lead the Dallas Cowboys to a Super Bowl championship. He does have a Super Bowl ring. He was the punter on the Super Bowl 12 team. He got to some NFC championship games, but he is considered awful because he didn't win a Super Bowl while he was the quarterback, the starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And I find that interesting because Tony Romo's loved. For the most part.
Now.
But I don't know why Danny White's not. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Maybe because he followed Roger, and he couldn't live up to the hype.
Well, that's a tough follow, right? That's a tough follow.
But he went to NFC championship games, but Danny White has always been, and go look at his numbers and what he was able to do. He wasn't a garbage quarterback. And you listen to some people say they'd rather have, say, Quincy Carter than Danny White because ridiculous. Danny White didn't win a Super Bowl following Roger.
Were they drunk when they said that? Here's a question for you before we take a break, and I heard this on another show today. Would you rather have Troy Aikman or Aaron Rodgers?
Troy's my guy. That's not fair. I can't.
Well, I'm just saying.
I can't be honest about that. But
you
honestly,
have to be honest.
Troy has 3.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm just asking, the different types of quarterbacks, there's different eras, obviously. Because, the Cowboys ran the football a lot, but Troy was a pretty accurate passer.
Well, he was an accurate passer, but they had a great run game. They had a great offensive line.
They did.
The NFL's all-time leading rusher and some dude named Emmitt Smith. They had a hell of a defense. Jimmy Johnson did a great job putting that thing together.
Which was a great trade, wasn't it? Herschel Walker?
Yeah.
Did you see the same scenario? Micah Parsons.
Oh, here we go.
Same scenario.
Here we go.
Man, that would be good.
Here we go. Here we go.
Same scenario.
Yeah, here
Unbelievable.
We go. Well, we spent a lot of time there. There's other things in the headline blitz. Quickly, did you see Tom Brady getting booed yesterday?
I did.
In Indiana or Sunday?
Truth be told, I didn't. I'm not a big auto racing guy, so I didn't watch any.
You watched the Weenie 500?
Well, I did watch that. That was fun.
It's quick 2 laps.
Yes.
And Live Golf. Do you want your head to explode on Live Golf?
No, I love this story. Story is that a lot of these guys that left the PGA Tour, their contracts are expiring. A bunch of them got big signing bonuses to come over to the Live Tour. That ain't happening again. So it will be interesting to see what happens when those contracts expire. They're going to want to crawl them back to the PGA Tour, and we'll see what happens. I'm sure they'll be let back in, of course. But and props to them. They got their big money, and they may get an opportunity to come back.
All the talk about the PGA merging with the Live.
Ain't happening.
It almost feels like – it's almost like sometimes you get a bad boss and you just feel like, I just wait this guy out. The PGA just needs to wait the Live out, because if they're not going to have those same bonus structures, maybe the unlimited money that we thought they had they're still running businesses and going, this ain't working.
Well, it's the same as we talk about in college football. Guys get tired of writing checks. Nobody's watching the Live Tour. Nobody. I don't know of anybody that watches that crap. And so, I know Fox just spent a boatload of money to televise that, and still nobody watches it. So it's not watchable. It's just not. I mean, look, golf, and we hear guys and gals around here all the time, I can't watch golf. It's boring. It's this, it's that. So unless you're a diehard golf watcher, then you're not even watching the PGA Tour, much less the Live Tour. I mean, you can go out to the Golf Club of Texas on a Monday afternoon and watch the same thing. Guys in shorts, drinking beer, starting on different holes. Can you imagine?
Hey, here we go.
Can you imagine? If you're, I don't know, John Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, big tournament, Sunday afternoon, and you're starting on hole 13. What the hell? No big introduction. Next on the tee from blah, 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 Bryson DeChambeau. No, you just go out to 13 and hit.
It's like a scramble.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
There's beer, there's shorts.
Yes.
I don't know what you're complaining about.
For me, I'm not. But if I'm a pro golfer, the likes of a Bryson DeChambeau or a John Rahm, I kind of want to.
John Rahm, and you open up your bank account and you say, all right, let's go to 13.
Yeah.
Somebody will cart me out there.
Problem for those guys, you see them in a major and then you never hear from them again. I love it. It is fantastic. It's just it's not a good thing. It's really not. We're about to have a war in college football. I'm afraid because the SEC and the Big Ten are trying to completely take over and call all the shots. And there's some people that just don't like that very much. We're talking about that when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Morning Huddle.
I went through it, and they told me no one time. They would never tell me no. They will, trust me.
Are you crazy? You think I'm an unfit cat parent?
You just had one die on you.
You son of a bitch.
The two cats you've had, one of them's dead.
How dare you?
You're batting 500.
How dare you?
I'm just saying.
You wouldn't bring up the time that a coyote ran off with your puppy?
That's been years ago.
But did it happen?
That was a puppy. I didn't say puppy. I'm just talking cat right here.
The Morning Huddle with AJ and Rob. Weekday mornings 6 to 10. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
My name's John Clay Wolf. I'm the founder of GimmeTheVin.com. Every month, for the next 10 months, everyone that sells us their car to GimmeTheVin.com will get put in a drawing for a $25,000 winner. We're going to pull one of you out of a hat, and somebody's going to win $25,000. So we're paying more, and you might win $25,000. GiveMeTheVin.com. They don't call us America's Best Car Buyer for nothing.
No purchase necessary. For official rules, go to GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Here in Texas, we know that trust is earned and reputation matters. Since 1993, Thomas J. Henry dedicated himself to building a firm that injured clients can trust and that Texans can respect. A firm where no defendant is too big and no case is too small. Backed by a track record of success and a commitment to our clients, Thomas J. Henry remains the name you can depend on if you have been injured. Trust the firm that stands for you. Trust Thomas J. Henry. San Antonio, Texas.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-230-2777. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-230-2777 or biglou.com.
The DQ Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Baskets have more flavor than your taste buds know what to do with. We start with all white meat, breaded, seasoned, and fried to crunchy perfection. Next, we double down and toss them in honey barbecue or new buffalo sauce. Serve them up with DQ fries, Texas toast, and house-made Hidden Valley Ranch, and you've got flavor on flavor on flavor. Get the Sauced and Tossed Chicken Strip Basket in honey barbecue or new buffalo right now at DQ. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
You know the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Summer's here, and you can now get almost anything you need for your sunny days delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get a chicken parmesan delivered. A cabana? That's a no. But a banana? That's a yes. A nice tan? Sorry, nope. But a box fan? Happily, yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine wines? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
I like a little controversy, and that's what we're having in college football. It appears right now. This is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagle, Jason Minix as well. And it looks like, Jason, that the SEC is making a power move to try to take over college football.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It just feels like they've been doing this for a long time. And there's so many different aspects of what's going on in college football, where there's talk about the expanded playoff, and you get Sankey saying, well, 4 automatic bids could cost the SEC, right?
Look at a track record. We didn't need 12. Had we stayed at 4, we would have had half the 4 last year. I don't need lectures from others about good of the game. I don't lecture others about good of the game. And coordinating press releases about good of the game. Again, okay, you can issue your press statement, but I'm actually looking for ideas to move us forward.
You know what's interesting about that soundbite is that he was responding to some emails and some press releases from the Big 12 and the ACC that were very unhappy with the Big 10 and the SEC. So that's what he's responding to. So he's responding to those emails that, well, they're not happy with it.
They're not, and then you got a politician saying that there could be some collusion. Does there need to be investigation between the SEC and the Big Ten? It's power moves. And with everything going on in college athletics, and especially college football, there are 2 dominant, there are 4 in the power talking points, but we know there's really two, especially when it comes to football. So expanding the playoffs, I don't know. Does it make sense? Does it not make sense? They're already going straight seeding because last year they were like, Boise State and Arizona State, we can't do this again, right? And to me that seems fair, but again, who's generating all the money? Right now it's really the SEC and the Big Ten. Everybody else is benefiting. The Big 12 is benefiting. ACC is benefiting. But at the same time, we know the vast majority of the money is the SEC and the Big Ten. And part of that is because they have created these super conferences, and the idea, that's a buzzword that seems to have gone away, but you almost wonder, at some point, ultimately, do we just get into one big old super conference?
I wouldn't be surprised. The only reason I don't like this, and I get it, everybody wants to see the best, but if I recall, and it wasn't that long ago, Arizona State damn near beat Texas in the playoffs.
Yep.
And so, I mean, you miss out on the possibility of something like that. And so I get where he's coming from, but how many SEC teams do you want in there? And mine is, you're going to put 6 in, and then 6 from the Big Ten and leave everybody else out? I mean, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I understand it. Everybody wants to see the best. But at some point in time, you got to let other people compete. Or you have the SEC and Big Ten. They form one conference, and just everybody else is playing for fun.
But when you look at it, every year it's a little bit different. I mean, you can almost laugh. The new coach at Alabama, DeBoer, right?
Yep.
Didn't he say something this weekend? Maybe it was today. The long holiday weekend, right? When you read stuff and when it was said. With that Alabama schedule, not many people would have been able to get to the playoffs. Dude, you lost to Oklahoma and to Vanderbilt. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, Vanderbilt had a better year than what they normally do. And the point is, right now, the SEC is dominant. You had a Big 12 team in Arizona State that was a Pac-12 team that had a nice playoff run. But is Arizona State consistently at that level? No. Pick a team from the ACC. When was the last time Clemson was really in that conversation? I mean, I know they were a playoff team last year, played up in Austin against the Texas Longhorns. You get one or two, but you got consistent dominance from the SEC and the Big Ten. But in 10 or 15 years, is it still going to be that way?
Well, it's interesting. And I think super conferences are coming before sometime soon, in the near future. Here's an interesting thing. Ross Dillinger, who works for Yahoo, writes for them, said something in March that I hadn't heard. Maybe you had heard this, but it's mentioned in this piece right here about the power that Greg Sankey has. He says that according to Dillinger, SEC presidents voted in March to grant Sankey the power to split the SEC away from the NCAA if Sankey believes that's the right move for the conference. Had you heard that?
I had not.
So that's according to Ross Dillinger, and that happened in March. Now, the SEC meetings are taking place now. They started today, and that's why a lot of this stuff is coming up. But I find that fascinating. And I think what's going to happen is the NCAA is going to go away, and you're going to have somebody like Sankey or the Big Ten commissioner or both running college athletics.
Well, they've put a pause on that President Trump college football committee thing.
Nick Saban thing.
Yeah. Whatever it's called. That's just a pause. At some point, I mean, NCAA will do great with Division II and Division III and maybe some of these others, but it does feel like, I mean, college football with revenue share, once that gets figured out, and the idea of whenever the judge makes that decision that we expected a long time ago, there's going to be more lawsuits. So it's not going to be judge makes a decision and here's the new rules. All right, everybody go play. There's going to be more lawsuits. So we're not really close to resolution. And it is the one time where it does feel like everybody says the government needs to get involved and have a standard for everybody. Because unless the SEC and the Big Ten and the Big 12 and the ACC, the power conferences, all play by the same set of rules, then there's going to be a lot of inequity. And right now you've got different state rules that people say, well, in our state we can do this, which is part of the reason why all this toothpaste is out that isn't going back into the tube because, California. So when you look at it, NCAA, will it go away? I don't know. I don't know if it will fully go away, but it won't. The idea of Division I college football, as we know it, are the Power Fives, becoming its own identity, self-supported, and financially, you figure they probably could at this point. But would colleges let that happen because the amount of revenue that's generated for the schools?
Well, the NCAA has no power now.
Sure.
As we speak. They have no power at all right now. The most toothless organization there is in this country. So, unfortunately, it's going to take some politicians getting together. And I was quite frankly disappointed. Now, I'm sure there's a reason for it, that the commission that Nick Saban was going to head is on pause. I think the sooner we get something done, and I think Nick Saban is the guy to do it. There's a lot of people that disagree with that, but I think he's one of the guys that could get this done and get a formula in place that could be voted on by Congress and a law made where we get rid of some of the nonsense that's taking place.
And again, for those that are anti-Saban because they think he will be very pro-SEC. Now, some could argue that because the SEC has kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, done their own thing anyway, and Sankey is very much, dude, I swing the big one here. Let's, this is what we're doing. Everybody else will fall in line, is part of the reasons we have the problems in college football now. So, Saban as the commissioner, Saban is running a committee, but the room doesn't need to have 20 people in there because it's too many people, too many different ideas for them to all come into an agreement. But there does need to be more than just a bunch of former SEC types that you feel are going to have a bias that way because, what is best for college football? And, will somebody say at the American level, you look at the commissioner of the American, will that guy even have a seat at that table or have any input? Or are we going to get to the point where those guys compete for a championship and then everybody else, like in the non-Power Fives, are they competing for a different level of championship? Will it be like Texas high school football? You've got your Division I and your Division II Class 6A champions based on enrollment. Do we need to go that route in college, in big-time college football?
I don't think that's the worst of ideas that I've heard. I don't think it's a bad idea at all to have something like that. It's going to come up with guys like Saban sitting in a room, coming up with a plan, and then you hand it off to some senator or congressman, and they're going to put it into a bill, and everybody's going to vote on it. It's going to have to pass. There's going to have to be a law passed. I just think that's the only way you're going to solve this completely, and any other way is just lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit.
It's going to be nothing but lawsuits.
No question
and
about
then,
it.
As I throw out an idea like that, from a TV revenue standpoint, would there be enough revenue to support, the SEC and that group kind of doing their own thing, and then the other non-power conferences like the American, would they get the same kind of TV draw, but if they were in a different playoff bracket? Because, right now, Boise State, they got in last year. They were one of those breakthrough teams, and every year there's going to be one according to the current system, but do they actually have a chance to go win a natty?
No,
or would it be better to have, a different level, but would the TV audience be there? Would the stadiums fill up for playoff games like that?
A lot of problems to look at and hills to climb. There's no question about that when it comes to college football and college athletics in general. We'll see. It's time, and I'm glad that we're at least talking about it. But watch for the war between the SEC, the Big Ten, and everybody else. It's going to be interesting. The other thing we're watching for, all of us here in San Antonio, is what's going to happen with Project Marvel and a brand new Spurs arena. The Bexar County Commissioners met today. I believe they met today, according to Matt Roy, and they're discussing a new proposition. Not to mention the fact there is a new trade rumor out there, Spurs fans, that I say sign the paper. Do it now. Do it now. We'll talk about it and tell you about it and all of that stuff when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, we're all coming off a long holiday weekend. Did you have the energy to keep up with all your activities? Because it is summertime, vacations, different barbecues, going to the ocean, going to the lake, whatever it is you're doing, you want to make sure you've got the energy for that. And if you're, declining testosterone is draining your energy, get that fixed. It's easy to do with TRT from Synergenics and Low T Center. Now, you think about some of those online TRT services, bit of a hassle to get started. You spend a lot of money, hundreds of dollars. Then you get an unreliable test kit. Then you got to wait for lab results. And that's even before you begin your treatment. Not really the way you want to get started. You want to trust the experts at Synergenics and Low T Center. They've been changing patients' lives for the better for a combined 25 years. They understand what guys need. They are in person, and they make it easy to get started with the quality care you deserve. And never a better time to get started with TRT than right now, because the consultation is free, the T-test is free, and it's fast. They have an on-site lab, so you get your test processed quickly, and if you qualify, you can start treatment that very day. Convenient locations all across the San Antonio area. Synergenics and Low T Center give you the power to take control of your health. You have the option for that white glove in-center care or medically monitored custom dose TRT at home. And if you're looking to lose a few pounds, Synergenics and Low T Center, they make it easy with prescription weight loss medication, and you'll receive a free B12 shot on the same day. Most major insurance is accepted, so you have no excuse. Go book that initial appointment right now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
I'm solo again. Did the Knicks manage it, or are the Pacers marching toward the NBA Finals? We'll look at what went down. We'll get you ready for more playoff action. And the NFL is just 100 days away. We're talking about it. Get here early. The party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is a special notice to U.S. taxpayers owing $10,000 or more to the IRS. Tax Relief Advocates is urgently notifying taxpayers that tax relief initiatives are now available that may significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe. If you're afraid of an IRS lien, levy, or wage garnishment, don't lose hope. You can now take advantage of these current relief programs to end all collections, reduce the amount you owe, and resolve your tax problem. Even if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are already in a payment plan, you may still qualify for significant relief. Struggling taxpayers can now get relief they need during these hard economic times. A hotline has been established by Tax Relief Advocates for you to call and see what you qualify for. They are A+ rated with the BBB and have over 1,000 5-star reviews. Don't wait. Call 800-575-7147. 800-575-7147. That's 800-575-7147, or simply visit TRA.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey, San Antonio. Multiple tours overseas, years of protecting the country. It all adds up at University of Maryland Global Campus. Earn up to 90 credits for prior learning, military experience, and training toward our low-cost degree and certificate programs. We call that credit where credit is due. For over 75 years, our dedicated success coaches have been helping service members achieve their goals. Get started with local support and online and hybrid courses right here in San Antonio. Visit UMGC at San Antonio or umgc.edu/SATX.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. Jason Minix here from San Antonio Sports Star. You can do that with Orchard. Orchard puts cash into your pockets. You can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday one. Then you buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom, payday two. Learn how you can make more with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Listen to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on your Amazon or Google smart speaker and just say, Alexa, play R&R in the morning on San Antonio Sports Star.
Wow. Hey, it's not Monday.
It's not.
It's Tuesday. But since we missed Monday, we got to do a Mellow Mushroom Monday on a Tuesday.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. So we'll be giving away a $50 gift card to Mellow Mushroom coming up at some point in time today. This is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe. He's Jason. Watch us on YouTube if you do that. Like and subscribe our San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Reinigle 210. Follow Jason at Jason Minix. Comment there. Feel free to do that. Whatever you want to say. You can call us the old-fashioned way. 656-3776, 656-ESPN. Interesting tweet we saw today from our good friend of the show, Matt Roy, about the Bexar County Commissioners discussing the next steps of a new Spurs arena and how they can rework the current Freeman Coliseum Frost Bank Center grounds. And basically, what they're proposing, at least, they would like to ask voters to raise the hotel occupancy tax from 1.75 to 2% this November.
Now, it doesn't seem like a major increase, and Matt has not tweeted in 4 hours. So I don't know if they've gotten there yet, done with discussions. I texted them and said, any update? Haven't heard back. I don't know if you're allowed to have your phone in there or not. I have no idea. That's part of the reporting job I'm glad I don't have to deal with, right?
Me too.
But it is interesting with some of what he tweeted leading up to the meeting. The Stock Show and Rodeo and Coliseum Advisory Board also presenting a plan to commissioners on how they can redevelop current grounds and bring in new revenue. They think by doing that, they can have an additional $367 million economic impact on the area. Sure. But redevelopment would cost about $200 million total, and that does not include renovation costs for the Frost Bank Center. So if voters do vote to increase that tax to 2% in November, it would bring in about $446 million over the next 30 years. But then you look at the money they want to spend redeveloping that current area, that would leave about $100 million to contribute to the new Spurs arena, which, I don't know, you're talking about more than $1 billion. What's $100 million?
I mean, it's kind of a drop in the bucket at this point in time, isn't it? Now, there's got to be something else going on there that they would ask to do this and be a participant in what's going to happen in downtown San Antonio. But it looks like, from what we heard a couple of weeks ago, that the city council folks have decided to, it's basically paid for the way I understand it. I know there's some more hurdles to jump through and stuff like that, but I think we're pretty close to a new Spurs arena when it's all said and done. I just find it interesting. I don't know what they're going to do with the Frost Bank Center. Now, Freeman Coliseum has its place. I know there's been some concerts there, and they keep that. They've done a great job with that. The Gunslingers play in there. The Frost Bank Center, though, it can't survive just on the rodeo and a few concerts per year, can it?
Sure. Depending on the concerts. Now, there'll be competition for concerts between the Spurs Arena and the Frost Bank Center. And one of the reasons why, although depending on who you talk to, how true this is, but one of the reasons why SS&E got rid of the WNBA and the hockey team was the free updates for more concerts. And there have been a lot more concerts there, and apparently you make more money with that as opposed to having a bunch of teams and all the bills that come with that. So I don't know that the building will become obsolete. But location-wise, I don't know what kind of events you're going to get in there that would be sort of related to the convention business, although I suppose that they could have that. But it's an older arena. And, I don't know, garden shows and different things like that, other events, we'll see. I mean, think about all the Alamo Dome gets used far more than what most people realize.
True.
And there are concerts that, wasn't that long ago, was it Jelly Roll was playing at the Alamo Dome the same night Stained was at Frost Bank Center. And you go other places, other cities, and there could be a night years from now that the new Wemby Center is hosting, pick a concert, and there's something else going on at the Frost Bank. And that gives, to me as a concert connoisseur, I like that idea because there's more options. It happens in Austin, with various events, stuff happening at the amphitheater and stuff happening at the Moody Center. So I don't know. I don't think that the Frost Bank Center is just going to completely go away and, be busy 40 nights a year. I still think whoever's running it, their job is going to be able to fill that thing and have events in there for however, 250, 300, whatever it takes.
Well, I think as long as Judge Sakai is the Bexar County judge, he's not going to allow that to happen, and that was his biggest concern. Didn't want to turn the Frost Bank Center into the Astrodome and just have it sit there vacant. I don't think it would. Look, it's just too nice a venue to go to nothing. But it would be nice to see them use some money out there to revamp that entire area. Because let's face it, a lot of folks go out there for the rodeo. And maybe a lot of folks that never go any other time. And you see that, you see a nice venue, you might say, wow, this is great. We'll come back here and we'll do this or that. And so, look, it's too nice a facility just to let it go.
Well, I agree with that, but how much of that is on the county? And
sure.
let's go back to something that Tommy Calvert brought up on this show several months ago. Cones. All right, you go to the Frost Bank Center. I don't care what event it is. If you're going to a Spurs game, you're going to a concert, whatever it is, you go there and you leave. And you don't even really have a choice because cones. We all know there's nothing to do in that area ahead of time. And when you leave, you don't even get to go the route you would like to go that might be most convenient for you to get to where you need to go, going home or going wherever, because they cone you out, and then once you get wherever you're going, you have to figure it out from there.
Thank God for GPS.
Well, that's it. All right, but at the same time, a lot of this is on the county with, and let's go back almost 30 years ago when it was built, all the promises that were made for that area, that hasn't happened. And Tommy Calvert was on the show saying, well, there's this place, can't get to it because of cones. I don't even know that place exists, right? Whatever example Tommy brought up. But they make it impossible in that area to go anywhere but the highway and get the hell out of the area. Now, that's on the county.
I'm talking hearsay here, but I got it from a pretty reliable source that the county is thinking about, or the city, whoever owns it, Willow Springs Golf Course, thinking about selling that off to develop. So I find that interesting. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's that golf course that's right across the street from the Frost Bank Center. I love that golf course. Granted, it's been a hell of a long time since I've played it, but it's a good golf course. But that is a possibility. You talk about that land value, it's got to be enormous. And if you could sell that off to a developer that could, I don't know, maybe put some restaurants on there.
Yeah,
or,
if they put
or
a bar district there, it's a
something,
game changer.
It'd be fantastic. So we'll see what happens with all of this. But it's moving forward, and it's got, look, we're almost into June.
Mm-hmm.
And if they want this thing on the November ballot, you better giddy up.
They got a couple of weeks to get that done. Now, getting yes votes requires excitement. And a winning basketball team generally gets a yes vote because that creates excitement. There is a trade rumor, and it's rumor time, and I always warn people, this time of year, be careful of what you're reading and who it's from on how valid it might be. This one, very valid sources, or the reporting is valid, coming from a New York newspaper, a trade involving the Brooklyn Nets that would send Cam Johnson to San Antonio for that number 2 pick, and we'd get some late round picks. But overall, I don't like it the way it's completely written up, but it's certainly a conversation that could get ironed out.
Dude, I'd take it right now. And there's a possibility, according to this story, that the Spurs would grab Brooklyn's number 8 pick. And if that's the case, you solve a couple of things really quick.
Well,
you solve a shooter problem, and you can draft a big man.
See, now Brian Lewis of the New York Post is saying that the Spurs would give up the number 2 pick and then get one of those late-round picks that they have. And I don't want to pick in the 20s. If the 8 is available, yes, I'd do that in a heartbeat. I'm not sure if that's actually there right now. I would certainly do that. Other national reporter types have also linked San Antonio with Brooklyn, and it's because Brooklyn is trying to get up to that number 2 spot. Now, keep in mind, the projected number 2 pick, Harper, Dylan's dad used to play in the NBA, won some trophies. He wants his kid to play in Brooklyn.
He does.
And he's been championing this for a long time, and a lot of times those star player types get what they want.
Well, look, it solves a shooter problem. Right then and there. I mean, Cam Johnson can shoot. Was he damn near 40% from the 3-point stripe? And that would solve a huge problem right there. And look, I know everybody's high on Harper, and I get it. I understand. I'm sure he's going to be a great basketball player, but you already know that Cam Johnson is. And they're like drafting Cam Johnson with the number 2 pick. And I think, to me, that would be worth it. And you can find other things depending on where it goes. I think this is a good idea, and I'd like to see something like this happen. But what do you think? Comment on our YouTube page, San Antonio Sports Star YouTube page. If you want to give us a call, please do that, 656-3776, 656-ESPN. What do you think about that? Would you give up the number 2 pick to the Brooklyn Nets in exchange for a Cam Johnson and another first-round pick, wherever that may happen to be? Would you do that? I find this very interesting, and I hope this is true, and where there's smoke, there's usually fire, and I hope the Spurs are thinking along this line.
Well, and you look at the Nets currently have 5 picks in the top 36, and they've got those 3 very late, because they got 8, then they got 19, 26, and 27. I don't know that I want 19, 26, 27 this year. In fact, I know I don't. If one's thrown in to make it all work, but if I'm giving up 2, I want 8. I'd almost give up 2 and 14 to get 8. And if I've got to have one of those other ones, sure. But when you think about Harper, and there was a story over the weekend about Chris Paul's future, because Chris Paul doesn't appear to be done with basketball, but he might be done in San Antonio. It's already a crowded backcourt. And if Chris Paul wants to start, it's not going to be in San Antonio, especially if they bring in a Harper. So I like the beginnings of this, but this cake is not made. We still have to massage quite a bit here to get it to where I think the Spurs would go for it, and that's the 8th. Now, Shams Charania was on Pat McAfee earlier today, and he talked a lot about the Spurs and the trade rumors.
They also have a ton of assets. They have tradable contracts. They have the number 2 pick. They have the number 14 pick in this year's draft. They have a bunch of tradable picks as well moving forward. They have all their picks. So
El Jefe.
Whether there's a player like a Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think a Kevin Durant's another guy that the Spurs there was mutual interest in at the deadline. I think they're going to be looking very actively to see, is there a wing player we can bring in that could take us over the top?
A wing player.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's Cam Johnson. I mean, we're talking about a wing player. That's the guy. I mean, that is a perfect addition. Well, you could talk about a Cam Johnson, a Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, a Wemby, and then pick one. Yeah, if you draft a guy or if you go out and get another guy, I mean, that's a hell of a lineup, and that's going to be a lineup that's going to put a lot of fear. And if you're going to keep, I don't know, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, you got a pretty good bench. So, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities here. And I tell you, look, and I know everybody, even on our YouTube page here, Jose says, boy, you know, Manu qualities Dylan Harper has. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, great. You know, I could probably sing like Elvis, but I don't know. I've got the potential.
Again, he might have Manu qualities, but what do you need right now?
Exactly.
And unless some weird thing happens and, say, De'Aaron Fox doesn't sign that long-term extension, but he worked his way here. I believe that's a no-brainer and essentially a done deal. Then you, even with Wemby, you would have a very small team with Castle. And I don't know anybody that's willing to give up Castle for Harper right now. But I'm not giving up that number 2 pick and the potential of what Harper might be unless I'm getting at least the 8th pick in return. To me, that is the deal breaker. I don't want to Cam and pick 27, right?
Well, dude, you're talking. You're just like every other Spurs fan out there. So I say, we'll give you Mamu Kilishvili for Giannis. We'll do that. I mean, you have to give up something to get something, and you're fitting a need here. That'd be great to get Cam. It'd be great to get him and the number 8 pick. Sure, that'd be like winning the lottery all over again.
Well, again, I mean, you're moving down because there's the big from Duke and the other big from Rutgers that you could get with that 8 spot. Pledge is saying add in Nick Claxton. Cam, Nick Claxton, and 8 for 2 and Devin in salary.
Okay.
I mean, but those are doable. But again, these are good conversation starters. And, you know, and no, it's not like let's give up Mamu for Giannis straight up. But I'm giving you the 2. I don't want 27. I want 8. And if they want 2 that bad, they will give up 8. Brooklyn is the one that seems to be driving this conversation, not San Antonio, so the Spurs can demand that 8.
Well, if it's not San Antonio, it should be San Antonio. San Antonio's got holes. This team, as assembled, is not a playoff serious team. In my mind, it's just not. They've got holes. They don't have shooting. They don't have it. I want Devin Vassell to be that guy, but he just hasn't been, and there's no reason for me to believe all of a sudden he's going to learn how to shoot. And so I just think that you've got to solve some problems. You've got to trade, or certainly draft for need. And while Harper may be Manu Ginobili reincarnated, it doesn't solve the problem the Spurs have right now. It just kind of adds to a very crowded backcourt. I'm just saying, go out and solve a problem. Cam Johnson solves a big problem that this team has. The guy can flat out let it fly. And so I'm not saying I want the Spurs to get the best of it, no doubt. But, I mean, at some point in time, Spurs fans, you got to realize, you know, you're not going to screw everybody the way that the Spurs screwed Sacramento.
But we could try.
Well, sure, you can offer it.
We can try.
You can offer it. There's no doubt. You can offer it up. Sure. Just like the Cowboys. What are they going to offer for Jalen Ramsey? I mean, the guy just bought a house in Dallas.
Here we go.
He's coming to Dallas. He's going to be a Cowboy. That certainly means that, doesn't it? We'll talk about that and everything NFL and Dallas Cowboy. That's coming up. And we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, injuries do happen, and when they do, you can skip the ER and get straight to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, strains. It's conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday. They have on-site x-ray casting and bracing. In fact, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, but best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. So if you're injured, get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic. Learn more online at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
Ahead of the field and throws it down with a right hand.
Your home for the NBA.
Nigel, Why does our office look like a casino?
I call it employee engagement.
Folks, right now is the ideal time to hit the jackpot on comfort with Quarter Moon's Lucky 7's AC tune-up. It's just $77 for a complete 7-point inspection.
Excuse me, bossman. I've got a good feeling about that slot machine next to your desk.
Joel, I couldn't get an advance on next week's check, could I?
Call Quarter Moon Plumbing, AC and Heating for your Lucky 7's AC tune-up. Just $77. 210-651-5899.
License number TSAOG 141074EM16004.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're gonna be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TRAFFIC25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TRAFFIC25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TRAFFIC25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code TRAFFIC25.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom. Celebrate youth sports with the San Antonio Brahmas. The Herd returns to the Alamo Dome Sunday, June 1st to take on the Arlington Renegades in their final home game of the season. Celebrate the future of sports as they highlight young athletes, players, and coaches in their Celebrate Youth Sports game. Bring the family and enjoy the fun with local community mascots, a halftime youth flag football showcase, and of course, Brahmas football. Get your tickets at UFLBrahmas.com. That's UFLBrahmas.com. Our town, our team, our Herd.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
Attention passengers, we've reached 10,000 feet and internet is now available for purchase.
I just paid hundreds for this flight, and you can't even throw in internet? I'll just take the free pretzels.
Sorry, but I do have snack boxes for sale.
I'm just gonna sleep.
In that case, we are selling pillows and blankets as well.
I'll just breathe. That's free, right?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
April Ansira here from the Ansira Auto Group. Every year, the Texas Yes Project provides thousands of students across the state with free school supplies. And now you can help by entering the Drive Away for Education raffle, proudly sponsored by the Ansira Auto Group. One lucky winner will drive away in a brand new car, truck, or SUV, and countless young Texans will move forward with stronger futures. And we'll be giving away a gas card and shopping spree, plus other weekly prizes. Buy your raffle ticket today at TexasYesProject.org.
Water coming in and out of your home is like laughter. Here in San Antonio in the Hill Country, it can be harsh. Now that's harsh. At the same time, those that know have a Connecticut quality water softener enjoy this. Smooth, soft, pure, clean water. The difference is astounding. Hard water, soft water. If you don't have a Connecticut water softener in your home, you're basically inviting destructive hard water to beat up your appliances, hot water heater, and every pipe in your home. And that's no laughing matter.
For a limited time, get a free reverse osmosis drinking station, $400 off with trade-in, and 0% interest for 12 months. Call Connecticut of San Antonio in the Hill Country, 210-656-PURE.
Connecticut is simply the best water softener you can buy, and that's why we say it's the last water softener you'll ever own. Don't live with. Live with.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE. Connecticut.
License number 38961.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, congrats to the UTSA Roadrunners baseball team. They were selected to the Austin Regional as the number 2 seed. They'll compete against Texas, Kansas State, Houston Christian. It all begins Friday. In fact, the Roadrunners open up the NCAA postseason play against third-seeded Kansas State. First game of that tournament, 6 o'clock on Friday. NBA playoffs continue tonight. Pacers, Knicks. Pacers lead that best of 7, 2-1.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1.
Oh, man, I like Tuesdays coming off a long weekend. We had Memorial Day weekend. It's Tuesday. Feels like a Monday, but I'm glad it's Tuesday. And I'm glad you're spending a little time with us here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Jason Minix. I'm Joe Reinagel, and we're happy to have you here with us today.
That we are, and we were just talking about the Commissioner's Court meeting. I guess they're doing something. Ask Matt Roy if there's any update. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'll try to show my phone. Dude sent War and Peace. I'm not.
That's a novel.
Dude,
love that guy.
It's like 7 tweets worth, Matt. Good Lord. But basically a very, very, very small step towards getting something on the ballot in November.
All right. Well, look, they got to move and get something on there. Although, I'm unclear how the county part is going to help the Spurs City part and all of that stuff. But I do hope the Frost Bank Center and Freeman Coliseum are well taken care of.
Well, and the reality, and basically what Matt says at the end, either way, the county is going to put the county first, and whatever money is left from the venue tax after they do redevelopment and renovation to the current properties will go towards the Spurs if the voters say yes. But reading numbers, we're talking about $100 million in a project that's going to be well over $1 billion. And you wonder why the Spurs are even trying to, I guess every nickel counts, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem like that makes that big of a dent.
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't. So I think, and that's kind of how they need to sell this thing, isn't it? If you're the county and you want this thing on the ballot, this is for, 90% of it for county projects.
And it's the tourism tax.
Right.
So, and anytime you travel, hell, I spent a week in Phoenix last week. And when I got my hotel bill and I'm looking at all the different taxes and the amount of money in taxes I paid for a week in a hotel in downtown Phoenix, and good night.
It's a lot.
Well, essentially the taxes for the 4 nights were more than my single night stay if I were to just been there for a night. It was a lot of money. And again, that's what you do when you travel. So it's a tourism tax. But when you're looking at a project of this magnitude, and I'm just focusing on the Spurs Arena part, not all of Project Marvel, because it feels like it's the Spurs Arena part that wants some of this tax money. It doesn't feel like it is that much of a difference maker.
Well, it's not. $100 million, which, in the scheme of things, is a ton of money. But when you're talking about $1.5 billion, it's really not even a dent. And so, again, I'm happy that Judge Sakai is taking care of the county first, as he should.
He should.
And the city, I think, is taking a big step towards the new Spurs Arena. So things are moving in the right direction. It's just going to be interesting because, again, the city election's coming up on June 7th, right? So, that's when that runoff is. And then, are the Spurs going to roll out a big PR campaign after that? I'd like to see something like that would explain to everybody what's going on and how all the T's are going to be crossed and I's are going to be dotted.
And based on the 14 text messages I got today, early voting starts today.
Ah, that's true. Yeah.
For the mayoral election. And then, depending on who you're thinking for mayor, and and I've got friends apparently that are on either side, one for this, one for that, and they're both trying to explain why. And good night. Hate politics.
It always seems to be an election, right? Coming up, always.
Well, but when you look at, it's interesting because it seems like the police and fire union and the Express News have all endorsed Pablo at this point, who seems to be more pro-Spurs. And you had both of the candidates on last week while I was out, but in listening to those interviews, the one thing that Gina Ortiz-Jones seems to claim is that tax money can be used for other things, and then you quickly see a bunch of people say, no, those tax dollars cannot be used for some of the projects she wants them used for.
No.
And so I don't know. But neither one of them want to be responsible for the Spurs leaving.
Oh, that'd be political suicide.
Oh, well,
I mean, it really would be around these parts. That's for sure. Although there is going to be a lot of people against this because there just always is.
Well, there always are. And on YouTube, Oscar says, which mayor is pro arena? I don't know. To be honest, they both seem pro keeping the Spurs here, and both want a good deal for the taxpayers, which is what you would expect them to say. But based on everything that I've read in the interviews that I've seen, it seems like, and we're not a political show by any stretch, but it seems like Pablo is more pro arena than Jones is.
I would say that too, just from interviewing them both, that he is more pro that than Gina Ortiz-Jones. But look, I just this thing is the arena is gonna happen. I just feel pretty certain about that, and that's not gonna be a vote because of what the city did. They adjusted that project finance zone, and so the Spurs arena is going to be built out of that. And it's got to be what I just learned about that, and what you said about Gina Ortiz-Jones is absolutely correct, because it all fits into a project there with the convention center, and I believe the Alamo Dome is included in that. So it has to be part of a project to be able to do what the city council did just a short time ago. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. That's for sure.
And again, ultimately, these pro teams, and I'm not just talking the Spurs, you look at every city out there, they ultimately get what they want, or we know what happens. And the Spurs haven't threatened that yet, but there's always that fear.
Always.
And, quite frankly, if the Frostbank Center didn't get built when it did, you wonder if the Spurs would even be here right now. You think about yesterday, the anniversary, although I don't know if it's the actual date anniversary, but Memorial Day, the Memorial Day miracle, which changed everything for the San Antonio Spurs.
I love that. I don't know how many highlights I saw of that. Oh, Sean Elliott with his heels up and knocking down that shot.
Bob Costas on the call.
Oh, my gosh. It was great to see. And that stuff never gets old.
No.
It never gets old. And so I enjoy watching that all the time. And Sean's just such a good dude, man. I'm glad that happened, to him, for the team, all of that stuff.
But honestly, if he doesn't hit that shot and they don't win that championship, you almost wonder, would they be in San Antonio still? Because there were so many rumors back then with the Maloof brothers, or are they going to Baltimore? Are they going here? Are they all those different things? Then the SBC Center got built and approved, and kind of saved them. You wonder, would this radio station exist right now if the Spurs didn't have that long championship run?
It could have changed the entire course of history. There's no doubt.
The Spurs could have left, and we'd be El Paso. Think about it.
Wow.
Think about it.
Okay. Wow. I had a good night in El Paso one night. What I remember of it.
What side of the border?
Many moons ago.
What side of the border, sir?
It started on one and ended on the other.
There you go.
It could have. It happens that way. You know what sounds fantastic right now? Pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet there's some folks thinking, what are we going to do for dinner tonight? Had a lot of barbecue over the weekend. We might want to do something different. Well, how about a mellow mushroom pizza? We could do that. We could help somebody out with a $50 gift card to Mellow Mushroom. What do you think?
Let's do it. I mean, it's a Mellow Monday on a Tuesday because we didn't work yesterday. So let's give those that gift card. Although when you get it, it's those, because that helps. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Let's give it to caller 12.
Caller 12. Caller 12. Just call a pledge up in there, and he'll hook you up with a gift card to Mellow Mushroom. That's perfect. And I did mention going to the break earlier that Jalen Ramsey bought a house in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
That obviously means he's coming to play for the Cowboys, right?
No.
It doesn't?
Not at all.
Well, we'll try to explain when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know me, you listen to this show enough, the Roo Pub is my go-to spot. No better place to go watch any big game, any big event than the Roo Pub there at 281 in Redland Road with those 3 massive 170-inch screens, TVs all around. You think about a night like tonight where you've got playoff basketball and playoff hockey, you need multiple TVs. go to the Roo Pub. They got all the cold drinks you want, obviously, and go hungry because the food there is fantastic. About 15 different burgers on the menu, the biggest and best wings in town. I love their fried shrimp. Great appetizers, great salads, and that kitchen is open late every day with the full menu available. Plan now for tomorrow because tomorrow, Wednesday, steak night at the Roo Pub. $19.95, a great 12-ounce ribeye, your potato, your salad. You can't beat that deal. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game, the Roo Pub, next to the Angry Elephant, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
During National Military Appreciation Month, we at University of Maryland Global Campus say thank you to the service members, veterans, and families who dedicate their lives to our country. We are deeply grateful. For over 75 years, UMGC has proudly served the military community, from installations overseas to the communities you call home. Wherever you serve, we stand with you. Learn more at umgc.edu/thanks. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you? I just wanted to request a late checkout, please.
Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours.
Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours.
Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
During National Military Appreciation Month, we at University of Maryland Global Campus say thank you to the service members, veterans, and families who dedicate their lives to our country. We are deeply grateful. For over 75 years, UMGC has proudly served the military community, from installations overseas to the communities you call home. Wherever you serve, we stand with you. Learn more at umgc.edu/thanks. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Guys, starting TRT has never been easier. Other places charge hundreds of dollars just for the test, but visit any Synergenics or Low T center and get the consultation and test totally free. Treatment is personalized to you, and most major insurance is accepted. With the freedom to choose if you want in-center care or at-home treatment, you're in control of your health. Looking to lose weight? Get a free B12 shot when you start prescription treatment. Offer limited. Book now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Are you annoyingly inattentive? Do you watch a movie and then ask a zillion questions because you weren't paying attention? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Come soon to Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale. Get a king bed for a queen price and save up to $700. Plus, get a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Yeah. I like that. I need that song on Wednesday, which would be tomorrow, right? Yeah. Which means it's Tuesday. That's a good thing.
Hump day?
Yeah. See, it fits right in.
Does it? Yeah, oh boy.
This is the Blitz.
You're going to change your
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Maybe
Yeah.
Happy to have you along on a Tuesday. I'm Joe. He's Jason. And, boy, a lot going on. You know, every time, and I've learned a lot, and it was a little bit different in TV, Jason, I'll admit, but because there were some really slow periods. But in radio, since I've been in, there's not.
No, people say all the time, I mean, yeah, there's no games, but a lot of times off-season can be more fun than in season because everybody, quite frankly, is a better general manager than the dude that actually has the job.
Absolutely.
And that was proven on Hard Knocks with the New York Giants. We can all do that. You just have to get lucky to get that gig, get paid a lot of money, and then get fired. And you can be like Tannenbaum. Then you get a job on television and talk about what it's like in those meetings. And you look at that, and then you kind of read tea leaves, which, you know, is kind of what we're doing now with a real estate report. Although before we get to that, if you're stuck on I-10, Joe and I, we're one of the few that actually like bad traffic because we're not in it. And you're forced to listen longer. But in all seriousness, I-10 near Wurzbach apparently still shut down. A fiery crash. At least one person is no longer with us, but you know what that means. The highway is shut down. It's going to be shut down for a while.
Yeah, no doubt, and especially this time of day right there, I-10 and Wurzbach, that's going to be a mess. So if you don't have to go that way, find a different way to go. If you're already stuck in it, well, I'm sorry for that, but glad you're listening. And we appreciate that very much. Always appreciate you guys spending a part of your day with us here on the Blitz. Will Jalen Ramsey be spending some time with the Dallas Cowboys?
No.
You don't think this is nothing, huh, to you?
I really don't. And part of that is you're hearing nothing from those that cover the Cowboys closely about any kind of talks involving Jalen Ramsey. Now, Jeremy Fowler, well-respected ESPN reporter, threw it out there, and there are some reports you see, and you just attach the Cowboys, and you know you're going to get interest, right? And that's true. I don't see Jeremy Fowler as that kind of guy, that kind of reporter. So he must have heard something, and maybe he heard that, you know, old Jalen Ramsey bought a house in Fort Worth. Now, if you're about to go work at the Star, you probably want to find something a little closer than Fort Worth.
Yeah, I would say it's a long way.
But, and who knows if Jalen Ramsey's actually going to live in the house. You know, he could be buying it for somebody. You know, remember when he was with the Rams, he had that really expensive property. If he sold that to avoid major taxes, he probably has to buy something else. I forget what that tax is called because I don't have those RPPs. But he's got to do something with that money, and property in Texas is probably a pretty good value.
Well, I mean, sure, although the property taxes are high as hell here. Government. Yeah, do something about that, like legalize gambling. That'd be great.
Just leave weed alone for now.
Well, leave that alone, too. And there's a lot of things we could do to lower those property taxes. That'd be awesome. Look, Cowboys need a corner. I think they're looking for a corner, and I think they add one, somebody, before training camp in Oxnard come the end of July. That's it, when you look at where there is a hole, and at least right now, because nobody knows about Trayvon Diggs. He says he's good to go and could be back by training camp. It's a possibility. You got the rookie that they drafted. He's hurt. Is he going to be ready for training camp? I don't know. Is that a possibility? They need some help in that defensive backfield, and I mean, a Jalen Ramsey would be ideal. But I'm kind of with you. While that would be ideal, would add some excitement to this team, I just don't think it's a possibility.
I mean, the reality is it's $20 million. Now, Jalen even tweeted out 5 today.
Yeah, he did. Well, he's going to be traded somewhere, I think.
Well, it could be a post-June 1 cut.
Could be.
You know, he's already gotten his $4 million roster bonus from the Dolphins. And when you look at best available free agents, and ESPN's got a list that they put out just a couple of days ago, May 19th, so, you know, not quite 10 days ago, there are some other corners that the Cowboys could be looking at. And Rasul Douglas is one, and so is Mike Hilton. Now, I think I'd rather have Hilton over Douglas. And I'm not saying I'd rather have Hilton over Jalen Ramsey, but I look at what the Cowboys like to do. Veteran guys, one-year deals that are not expensive. Not calling the Cowboys cheap. But Jalen Ramsey right now, unless he gets cut and you could sign him as a free agent, has a $20 million contract. And even if you're giving up a late-round pick to the Dolphins to trade him, do you see Jerry spending that kind of money? If Jerry thought this team was just that corner away from being a Super Bowl team, maybe it'd be worth going all in for. But at the same time, is this team right now really good, or are they Super Bowl contender? And I don't know that Jalen Ramsey takes them from good to Super Bowl contender.
Well, you got to do something with that, I think. You're going to have to find somebody, just as an insurance policy, if nothing else. So, I don't know. Jalen Ramsey, is he the answer? Probably not, and it's probably not going to happen. You asked the question, though, is this Cowboy team just a good team, or are they Super Bowl caliber winning? I don't think they're a Super Bowl caliber team as constructed here. I think there's a possibility if that offense clicks and you get Pickens and CeeDee Lamb doing what they're doing, and Ferguson comes back and plays a decent year because he didn't last year. And if they get that running game going, I'm, again, high on Javonte Williams. I saw a story today that he's most likely going to go into training camp as RB1.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's healthy and can stay that way, I think he's going to be a really bright part of that team.
It certainly, I mean, offensively, they've done a lot of things. The questions on this team are more on the defensive side. The offensive questions are really about the stability of the offensive line. And everything is predicated on a lot of people, including Dak Prescott, staying healthy. So defensively, there's questions on the defensive line. There's questions in the secondary. What is Eberflus going to do? How's he going to look? And with the new head coach, where are you going? And so I look at these Ramsey rumors, and I just don't see the Cowboys spending $20 million on a one-year deal for a corner, especially one that is his age. Now, Hilton in that same group, Pledge just put up their PFF grades. Ramsey was 76.9 last year. Hilton was 75.9. Now, Hilton, I think, made $24 million last year.
He did.
But he's a free agent. So is he a free agent to this point because he still thinks he's a $20 million defensive back and nobody's willing to give him that? Or is his price starting to come down? Now he's been linked to the Raiders quite a bit this offseason. Maybe the Raiders are willing to give him that kind of money. I don't see the Cowboys spending that kind of money on a defensive back for a one-year deal, especially with Diggs still there and on the books, because we know how Jerry and Steven work. They got budgets for every position group, and they can manipulate them. But right now, if you were to add Ramsey to Diggs for secondary guys, that's a very expensive secondary that you're not getting that kind of production out of, and mainly because of Diggs' injury.
Well, Hilton's he's 32 years old, too. Yeah. There's that. So I think if you're looking for a one-year guy, that may be a possibility where you could get him for under $10 million maybe, or whatever the budget is for that particular position. But I just think they need to do something because, again, the question marks are, as you just mentioned, are on the defensive side of the field. Cowboys went out and they added some pieces that should help. Once they get Micah signed, if they do.
They will.
It'd be nice to get that done or have some sort of clarity before training camp because he would actually be there. So a lot of drama, a lot of road to the journey still. But if there is a weak point at this point in time, just on paper, that would have to be defensively.
Well, and to me, that's another check mark to go get a Mike Hilton over a Jalen Ramsey, because at least I know Mike Hilton will go tackle somebody. In fact, he was ranked first out of 222 corners in run defense. And we know Jalen Ramsey and Trayvon Diggs would fight for the red Ole towel if a running back was anywhere in the secondary.
You think they were absent in Pop Warner when they were teaching tackling? Both of those guys?
No, they probably at one point did make hits, and then they started making business decisions.
Yeah, I guess so. Jeez, I tell you what, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. June 1 is a big day, so watch that date because a lot of those cuts will happen after June 1, and we'll see what's out there and what's available and what the Cowboys may or may not do. But it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. Jason, I'm intrigued by some of these trade rumors for the San Antonio Spurs. I like one of them. I guess Giannis is back on the table. I guess Kevin Durant is on the table. Probably in a rocking chair. But he's on the table.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by them, and I really am. And the latest one's out with Brooklyn. There were a couple others out there, but just seemed really convoluted. But I hope there is fire where there is smoke.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting offseason, and we've talked about this for a long time. We talked about this up until Pop made the decision, and the decision had to be made because this offseason is so important for this San Antonio Spurs organization on a variety of levels, but going from okay to great, but also with the new arena, adding excitement and taking advantage of Wemby while he's still on his rookie deal and making sure the foundation is in place. And that offseason is here. And the rumors, I'm loving them because it feels like the Spurs are doing something.
Spurs fans, are you ready to deal the number 2 pick? Are you just that much in love with Dylan Harper? We'll talk about that. Plus, we'll get into a lot of stuff when it comes to the NBA and the playoffs that are going on. We got a lot more room to cover, a lot more road to travel here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Saw on our YouTube chat earlier, Justin saying his AC went out, his first call, quarter moon, which is the smart thing to do. And I can't say Justin does a lot of smart things, but if he called quarter moon today because his AC is out, that's the right call to make. 210-651-5899, because at quarter moon, they are experts at worst-case scenarios. And if your AC is out, it's worst-case scenario. If you've got a plumbing issue, you call Quarter Moon. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. No commission. Sales reps, they'll provide estimates and second opinions, and they have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau, and at Quarter Moon, they are green certified. Now, if you don't want your AC to go out, and nobody does, make sure it's ready for the hot summer months that are ahead of us. Right now, they are running the Lucky Sevens AC tune-up special for just $77, so you can hit the jackpot with comfort. A 7-point AC inspection that keeps your system running cool and smooth. So call Quarter Moon to get that on the schedule, or if you like Justin and having an emergency, call 210-651-5899, 651-5899, or online at quartermoonplumbing.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
I'm solo again. Did the Knicks manage it, or are the Pacers marching toward the NBA Finals? We'll look at what went down. We'll get you ready for more playoff action. And the NFL is just 100 days away. We're talking about it. Get here early. The party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
How is it you not buckle? Cammy, we're not going far. But I know these roads well. This big old truck will protect me and you. Ugh, am I gonna get a ticket?
Save the excuses. Click it or ticket, day and night. A message from Texas.
Most of us go to the doctor when we're sick or need prescriptions refilled. But at the Institute for Functional Health, we offer a different and complete version of primary care. This means you will get the medications you need, but we will also put together a custom game plan to fix the root cause and allow your body to heal itself. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we help people get off of medications. Call me for a free consultation, 468-1891, or online at iffhealth.com. You will experience a doctor's visit unlike any you've ever had. 468-1891.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Doug. Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
An accident can leave you struggling to pay for medical bills. At Thomas J. Henry, we believe you deserve justice no matter your financial situation. That's why you don't pay us unless we win your case. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Texas.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Bundle Deal Days at AutoZone.
Well, I do need a bundle of things.
When you bundle, you save.
Do I save if I bundle oil with an oil filter?
Save up to $12 on that bundle.
What about brake pads and rotors?
Bundle those and the brake pads are free.
Can't save more than free.
You can save on hundreds of deals during Bundle Deal Days. Ends June 2nd at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. Duralast brake pads only.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. Jason Minix here from San Antonio Sports Star. You can do that with Orchard. Orchard puts cash into your pockets. You can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday 1. Then you buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom, payday 2. Learn how you can make more with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
This is the most, I think, anticipation team executives have had over an offseason. I think this is going to be the craziest offseason of all. I don't want to say all time. We just came off a trade deadline. I think it was the craziest of all time. I think this offseason might be the most craziest ever.
Well, that'll be interesting. That's Sham Charania explaining that and talking about a crazy offseason. So it sounds like there's a lot of GMs around the NBA that are interested in wheeling and dealing this offseason before we get in. And Jason Minix, Joe Reinagle, this is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I heard somebody say today that the NBA is in a situation right now, league-wide, that there's a lot of parity. Mm-hmm. And so one move, 2 moves could make the difference in winning a championship and making a long playoff run or being back in the lottery.
You know, I think it was Joe Fortnite. Is that how you say his name? Who does the show with Q, the gambling dude?
Fortenbaugh,
whatever his name is, right? He was talking about, you know, Oklahoma City's nice, but they're not a dynasty. That the way things are set up right now, he doesn't see there being another dynasty for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that fascinating because I look at Oklahoma City right now, and I've said all the year, I think they're winning the NBA title. And they are a team with the assets that can still get better. So I look at Oklahoma City as the team the Spurs have to knock off, which when I see all this Giannis talk, I'm not giving up all those future assets that the Spurs have been hoarding for Giannis because I don't know that Giannis, adding him in with everything that you would have to give up, puts you better than Oklahoma City. And at his age, at Giannis's age, I don't know that this group, a Giannis Wemby group, would grow enough to be able to outlast what I think Oklahoma City can be, which I look at them as they call it a dynasty or not, but I think they're going to be the standard, the team everybody's trying to knock off for the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Well, and if you look at Oklahoma City, you look at Indiana for that matter, they did it both ways. They drafted and they traded. And it's just the way to do it. I get drafting people and letting them grow, but I mean it's been 7 years, folks.
Yeah,
it's been 7 years, and the Spurs have drafted some poorly, some good, but you have to add in pieces to the puzzle from guys that are already there. I get not wanting to. Giannis is a different animal. But we're talking about you need shooters. You need another big guy, in my opinion. And I just think, and shooter number one, that is a priority. You've got to have somebody that can score. And look, the Spurs weren't exactly stellar defensively last year, even when Wemby was on the floor. So I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have a stopper or two in there. I know Jeremy Sohan's supposed to be that guy, but. Okay, they weren't exactly stellar defensively last year.
I just look at all of it. And again, it was fun while the Spurs dynasty was winning titles to say built, not bought. But in reality, there's got to be a combination of your draft picks and then moves that you make to get better. SGA, do you think the Clippers regret giving that guy up? You know what I mean? It's crazy when you look at what the Spurs can do. And so when you see some of these different trade rumors, and dude, I'd love to have Giannis, but not at the cost that I see for Giannis, especially knowing what Oklahoma City is and what I expect them to be. Now, Cam Johnson and this trade rumor that's coming out of a New York newspaper, it's the New York Post. That one is very, very interesting, and certainly one that feels like it could be massaged enough where Brooklyn is getting what they want and the Spurs are getting what they want. And it's not lopsided. Rare that you get a trade where both teams feel like they win, but this Cam Johnson one, the way it's portrayed right now with a little of my tweaking, kind of feels like both sides would feel like they're winning. And that's the Spurs getting the 8th pick and Cam Johnson for the number 2 pick and whatever else they want.
Well, and that would be ideal, but it looks like Brooklyn wants the number 2 pick.
Yeah.
They want Harper. And Harper's dad wants Harper in Brooklyn. He's come out and made that very clear. So, look, Cam Johnson solves a big problem for this team offensively. He can score. He can shoot. He can spread the floor. This guy, I think, would be an ideal addition to the San Antonio Spurs roster. If you can massage it and you can get a Cam Johnson and the number 8 for the number 2, then God bless you. I hope that happens because that would help solve another problem.
Well, and if they want another future first-round pick, I'd give up, 2 and 14 if I'm getting 8 in return. The New York Post reporters, talking about some of their late-round picks. They got a ton of late-round picks. I don't want pick 27 in this first round for number 2. And Cam Johnson. And Cam Johnson's 29. I don't know what his contract status is. I've got to go look that up, and Pledge is doing that right now. But averages 18.8, 4.3 rebounds, 3.4 assists. More importantly, 39% from three-point range, which he's exactly the kind of player that the Spurs need to go after. And this is one of the few trade rumors that I've read with a player that fits what I feel like the Spurs need, that isn't looking for 4 first-round picks in return for that player. This one seems doable. Like this could be a real conversation. There could be something where what would you use earlier? Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yes.
This one looks like it could be legit.
I honestly think it is. And look, and I know everybody is in love with Dylan Harper, and maybe rightly so. The guy, obviously, he's got a lot of talent. There's no doubt. But I think if you were able to get an established NBA veteran that fits a need, then I think you trade that pick. And if Harper turns out to be the greatest NBA player in the history of NBA, then I'll admit I was wrong. I just don't know that he's going to do that, and nobody does. He may be a great player. He may not be. But I just think if you have a chance to get an established guy and it fits a need and it's going to help your ball club right now, then I think you do it.
So Cam Johnson's going to make $20.5 million in 25, $22.5 in 26, and then he's an unrestricted free agent in 27. So that has to factor in if you're Brian Wright and El Jefe putting together the trade packages. You really only guaranteed have this guy for 2 years.
True. And you're going to have to give up somebody else just to make the salaries work.
Sure.
Right? So, but the Spurs have those guys. And who is it going to be? Does Brooklyn want Devin Vassell? Do they want Keldon Johnson? We'll see, but you got to make those salaries fit too. So, but still, you got 2 years, and if you're going to extend De'Aaron Fox this summer, which everybody fully expects is going to happen, then you do have to look at, because Wemby's going to be due for a max deal. That's coming up, and you're going to have to make that happen and make sure it happens. So, yeah, you got to look at those things. But I'm talking about getting this team into a position right now that they can go and they can compete and seriously compete for an NBA title. Then I think some moves need to be made.
You know, you think about what Sean Marks has done as GM of the Nets, and he can be pretty aggressive and has been. And I don't know that he's, I would say, going to get fleeced. I mean, he's proven to be a pretty smart general manager. He's going to look for a good deal. But when you look at, you know, they've got 19, 26, and 27, along with the 8th pick. The only one of value there for, I would see, for the Spurs would be number 8, unless there's another corresponding move where they could take those other Brooklyn picks and ship them to somebody else. And in whatever the Spurs might get from that. And I think that's where Shams Charania is saying this could be one of the wildest NBA off seasons, because there could be all kinds of trades. All these teams have been collecting picks for so long. What are they going to do with them? At some point, you're going to have to use them. And how you use them, when you use them, will be interesting. Harper, the one thing that we don't know is how in love is Mitch Johnson and Brian Wright with the idea of what they could do with Dylan Harper mixed with a Steph Castle and a De'Aaron Fox.
And you'd have to figure that out, right? I mean, you would have to figure that out, unless the Spurs are going to play small ball. Guys, 6'6" here. Jonathan Giovanni is tweeted about this at Draft Express. He says, Dylan Harper has excellent size for a point guard, combination of shot creation prowess, passing creativity, finishing skill, and overall scoring instincts have drawn comparisons to James Harden. Well, that tells me that's great. James Harden was a great offensive player, but he didn't know how to spell defense. So if you're going to compare him to James Harden, I hope he plays a little bit better defense than Harden does if the Spurs decide to go there. And look, if the Spurs decide to go there, I'll trust that process. But with all of these conversations, and I just can't believe that guys are just throwing this stuff against the wall for conversation as we wait for the NBA draft later next month. I have to believe that the Spurs are being active and they're on the phone and they're checking some things out. And I hope that they are.
210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Speaking of being on the phones, Robert he wants to play GM. Robert, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
Hey, I think we need to look at this, too, also, that we have the number 2 pick in a deep draft. You have a franchise potential guy at number 2 pick. I'm not saying the Spurs should keep him, but you don't need to give up the farm. Sean Marks, they got a bunch of first-round picks, but like I said, the 8th one's the only one with any kind of value. You got Cam Johnson and the 8th pick for number 2. I would do it, but I wouldn't give him back the 14th pick. I would, you got to work something out. Like I said, match the salaries, but you got to remember, people are going to be calling you for the number 2 pick because you got an opportunity. Anybody who gets the number 2 pick has a chance to get a franchise-type player. So, you can be selective. You don't have to, beg somebody else. They're going to be begging you. So that's the perspective you got to look at. But if you got Cam Johnson and, say, Knuppel for number 2 pick, those are 2 guys you didn't have last year's roster. That'd be 2 great shooters. Cam Johnson plays defense on top of that. Now, that would be worth it. But you don't need to give him the 14th pick. 14th pick, we need to get some more depth. A big guy there. So
but I'm looking at that depth pick there at number, or not depth, but Knuppel or the other dude from Rutgers if you want. And that's the other part. Just because Dylan Harper is considered the second best player, we know Cooper Flagg is going number 1. We don't necessarily know that Dylan Harper is going 2 because until the Spurs trade that pick, maybe there's somebody else that they like that they like enough, they're willing to use the number 2 pick on because he fits a need. Best player available or fits your biggest need. Well, what I do know, history covering this team, and you do too, Joe, the Spurs are going to do what's in the best interest of the Spurs.
Sure.
Right?
Of course they are, and they should. Again, though, I think the Spurs and Victor Wembanyama, let's not forget about this guy, all right? I think that is being taken into consideration right now, too. I think Wemby likes the team that he's with, but I think Wemby knows this team is not a winner right now.
Yeah.
And I think that trade for De'Aaron Fox signaled to me that the Spurs are going to get aggressive. I believe they're going to get aggressive, and I think if it costs the number 2 pick, then if you get a need and you feel a need for this team with some other considerations or however that's going to be had, then I think you do it. And look, again, Dylan Harper may be the greatest player. He may be another James Harden, and that'd be fantastic. But he may not be. And at this point in time, you just don't know. I mean, I know I say that a lot, but you don't know.
You don't know.
And look, the kid, he played at Rutgers, okay? And no disrespect to Rutgers necessarily, but it wasn't like he played at Duke or North Carolina or they weren't that great this year, but you know what I'm talking about, a big basketball program. Rutgers is there, but it's, and they didn't exactly make it into the tournament either, so a lot of things there.
210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Jonathan, you're on the Blitz.
Hey, how y'all doing? I appreciate you having me on.
You got it.
Well, honestly, I don't think we should give away the second pick. The second pick is something that we should keep. Now, the 14th pick, I think that might be something we should give away. Because I don't know if y'all been watching obviously y'all have, but OKC is winning off defense. And that's always been the Spurs' DNA is defense. So I know we need shooting for sure, but defense wins championships. So that's all.
I couldn't agree with that more. And the Spurs were not a good defensive team last year. They weren't. And that's even when Wemby was healthy. So this team needs some help on that defensive side as well.
Again, and nobody's going to give away the number 2 pick. You're going to get something in return, right? And generally, you think what you're getting in return is going to make this year's team and the next couple of years' teams better than what that number 2 pick would be able to offer you, right? I mean, I think people understand how trades work, but they're not just, Brooklyn, we don't want it.
Yeah, you can have it.
You can have it.
We're nice guys.
Merry Christmas. But then again, you get calls like this one. Hey, Gabe, you're on the Blitz.
Hey, guys. So what if Mavericks do not take Cooper Flag? What if they take Dylan Harper 1? It totally changes the scenario. Then what do we do?
Changes everything. And,
Did you have that dream last night, Gabe, or what?
I mean, I
mean, Nico
I'm
has done
sure
crazier
somebody
things, Joe.
in somewhere when the Spurs were going to get Wemby were saying, well, what if the Spurs don't take Wemby? I'm sure there were conversations like that. Cooper Flag is going to Dallas.
Nico Harrison would be run down by a bunch of fire-carrying rioters. I mean, dude, if he lets that go after what happened with Luka and you don't take Cooper Flag, hey, if that's the scenario, Gabe, then by all means keep the number 2 pick and draft Cooper Flag.
I will say this. If the Spurs trade that number 2 pick before June 24th's draft, and let's just go with this theory right now. They trade it to Brooklyn, and Cam is coming to San Antonio. And we get to draft night. We're sitting up there at the Rue Pub. And the Dallas Mavericks take Dylan Harper, number 1. We'll all shave Joe Ryan Eagle's head. right there in the moment. Because we would have lost out on Cooper Flag. And none of those scenarios are going to happen. Joe could safely put his hair on the line for this one.
Dude, I'm by that 0.001% chance that might happen. No, I'm not agreeing to that. No. Look, Nico Harrison was roundly criticized. When we talked to Machota, I've talked to other people at WFAA. If he does that, dude, this number 1 pick is giving that Mavericks fan base hope again.
Yep.
And there is no way in hell he's trading that number 1 pick. I mean, unless he gets Durant, Giannis, And I don't know. Name another one.
I don't know. SGA.
Okay.
I mean, I don't see any scenario out there. You know, I'd put my eyebrows on the line if you won't put your hair on the line because it ain't going to happen. I mean, you know, there's people questioning whether Wemby has grown this summer because he just looks so much taller. I think I've got a better chance of hitting a growth spurt at this point in my life than the Mavericks do of not taking Cooper Flag.
No, there's no way. He's going to have to do that. It's an impossible even scenario to think about. This is not disparaging Dylan Harper. Rutgers was 15-17 overall, 8-12 in their conference. I mean, those guys are highly rated. There's 2 of them there. Did they not have anybody? Did they play by themselves?
I mean, a bad team. He stayed close to home and got paid a whole lot of money.
I'm just asking. I'm asking. I mean, they didn't make a difference on that team.
I will say this: the more I think about Dylan Harper, and I love everything about his game and everything that, you know, since there's the potential that he could come here watching his videos. His dad makes me nervous. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Now, we dealt with a crazy uncle here in San Antonio once. His dad, yeah.
That could be a problem.
Well, honestly, you know, the stereotype AAU dad. And I know he's got championships and he's got a lot more credibility than some of the other dads that could be. But, I mean, this seems like a dad that's going to try to control the situation. And we dealt with that with an uncle. And knowing how the Spurs organization works, I don't know how well that's going to fly. But that does make him, in my mind, less attractive as a prospect.
Well, that doesn't help. And he's already been very vocal about wanting his kid to go to Brooklyn. And maybe that's what all this is coming from. That Brooklyn is throwing this out there to the Spurs and saying, hey, this is where he wants to be. Or at least this is where his dad wants him to be. So here, can we make a deal? It could very well happen.
Well, and then you wonder if that's the case. Say he is the superstar, but does not want to come to San Antonio whatsoever. And if the Spurs take him, will he actually sign a second contract here, or will he be gone well before then? And now, granted, he becomes very tradable at that point as he's looking at the end of that rookie deal. But you just wonder, for the Spurs, knowing how they always like to plan ahead, if you already know a guy doesn't want to be here, so you only got him for his rookie deal, is that worth it, or do you make a trade now? But again, Cam's got 2 years left on his deal, so you're looking at giving up the number 2 pick for Cam if this trade rumor were to come through, and you only have a guaranteed 2 years with Cam.
That's a possibility. I mean, look, there are a lot of possibilities. There's going to be a lot of massaging. Today is, I think the draft is June 25th.
Yes.
I know it's right about a month from now. So there's going to be a lot more rumors coming out, a lot more speculation about what's going to happen with that number 2 pick and all of that kind of stuff. So I just think this one, the Giannis deal is expensive, all right? If you're taking a shot and you want to try to win next year, then that's what you do. I don't think the Spurs team wants to do that, but you add some talent to this team, then I think that's the way to go in my mind, because you've got a nice base with the big 3. You add another piece or 2 down the road and you keep some of that depth, then I think the Spurs can seriously make a run. We'll see. A lot more stories coming up. There's no question about that. College sports. Dude, I think we're in for a fight. I really do. I think we're in for a fight, and it's going to be led by the SEC and the Big Ten. We'll talk about that, and we got a lot more to talk about. In fact, we got some tickets that just came in. We're going to be giving away next hour to go see Styx, one of my favorite bands, at Germania in Austin. You're a Styx fan, aren't you, Minix?
Yeah.
Of course.
Looked at that show, except for it's a Wednesday.
Oh, well, that sucks. We may have to look at it again. We will when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I want to tell you about Connecticut quality water softeners. I absolutely love mine. Have one in my house. Had it in there for a long time, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And look, if you listened to the show before, I've said this before, but I want to say it again because it's true. I was a skeptic got the Connecticut quality water softener in my house. There's no way this is any better than anything else I've ever had. I found out immediately it is absolutely head and shoulders better than anything else I have ever had. I have no issues with this thing. The showers feel better, your clothes come out of the wash better, your dishes are cleaner, and you know all along that you're protecting all of those appliances and the pipes in your house because, well, it's Connecticut. It's the best in the business. Look, it is the most popular water softener on the market. Been serving San Antonio for over 50 years, and all their products are made right here in the good old U.S. of A. And it doesn't run on electricity. You don't ever have to plug it in, so that means you don't have any of the problems with any kind of electrical circuits or boards or anything like that. But it does provide soft water 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And right now, for a limited time, they're going to give you a free reverse osmosis drinking station that they'll put in right there at your kitchen sink. It's like having bottled water right there at your kitchen sink. $400 for your old water softener they'll give you. Plus, they'll give you some free money. How about 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit? It is a great offer. You know these kind of offers don't last a long time, so call Connecticut of San Antonio and the Hill Country. The numbers to call, 656-PURE, 656-7873, or you can get them online at ConnecticutSA.com. And you know the jingle, sing it with me. It's the last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE, Connecticut.
Riding 410 with the Blitz.
Call 832-662-0389. Texas coastal land has never been this affordable.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
NBA playoff action tonight in Indianapolis. The Pacers lead the New York Knicks 2-1. Tip-off from Indy, 7 o'clock, but you can catch that game and all the action right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star beginning at 6:30. Of course, in the West, the OKC Thunder lead the Minnesota Timberwolves 3-1. Game 5 of that series is tomorrow in Oklahoma City. And the Roadrunner baseball team opens up play in the Austin tournament Friday.
Sports Center brought to you by Centergenics. Book your appointment at fixmylowteam.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
We are back here on the Blitz. It is 5 o'clock. I'm Joe Reinagel. He's Jason Minix. And I tell you what, if you've made it, if you're getting off work now, you have made it. Congratulations. Tuesday is effectively over, at least the hard part of it. So that's the good news.
Yeah.
Huh?
Sure.
Come on.
Exactly. You're almost already ready for
Hump Day.
Hump Day.
Yeah.
That was bad.
What's that song, Pledge? Yeah.
Huh?
Whatever song Pledge played earlier, it fit right into Hump Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that song have a name?
I have no idea what it is.
Well, I know you don't. I'm asking Pledge.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Pledge doesn't either. There's something on a random rotator we'll never hear again.
Exactly right.
We're on a flight Friday going to Dallas.
Yes.
I'm going to do the show Friday up there at Globe Life Field for the Rangers game. And Southwest Airlines, now starting tomorrow, is going to require your battery chargers to be kept out in plain sight over safety concerns.
Yeah. Well, okay. I guess there's been some people that have had those in the luggage compartment up, and did they catch fire?
Yeah, so lithium battery fires. And they always say when you're checking bags, no lithium batteries in there. Nope. But even stuff, I guess you could charge your phone, have it in your bag, or you can be charging something, have it in your bag. It's not in plain sight, and it can still catch fire. Last year, a record high of 89 of these happened.
Wow.
There have already been 19 this year. Now, I'm thinking about the number of flights there are per day. That still seems like a relatively low number, although last thing I want is a fire on board a plane. But they say if it's out and you're charging, if you're not using it, you can stay in your carry-on. But if you are using it, you have to have it out because if it overheats and catches fire, at least it can act quickly.
I would prefer not to have a fire on any flight that I'm on.
Sure.
So I'd not, but I got an idea, Southwest Airlines. Put battery chargers in the seats. Some planes have them, some don't.
They're getting there.
Yeah, I guess.
They're getting there. It just seems like such a random thing that
I'm okay with that rule. I'm all right with it.
I mean, if you're not using it, but I don't know.
Last thing I want is a fire on a plane that I'm on.
I agree. There's 180,000 flights every week.
Yes.
And there's been 19 incidents.
Uh-huh.
Which is,
pretty low.
I get it.
I get it.
But
I read today United Airlines is making a change. So they require you now to be there at the airport 30 minutes before a flight, at least. They're changing that to 45. So I guess if you don't check, even if you don't have luggage, so if you don't check in or whatever you have to do, but everybody checks in online these days.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how they're going to enforce that, but I've read that. So it's going to go from 30 to 45 minutes. So you got to be at the airport earlier than you normally might be.
Did they say why?
They did not, that I read. Could have said why, but when I saw that, I thought, well, how about that?
I mean, I get it to a degree, I suppose. But that makes no sense unless they're going to sell more beer somewhere along the way.
Well, I'm sure the folks at the airport are happy about that. I'm sure they're not upset by that at all.
I don't know. Did you see Texas Monthly? A lot of people wait for this. They make their travel plans based on this. The Texas Monthly Barbecue Top 50. They do this about every 4 years. And the number one barbecue joint in the state of Texas, Burnt Bean in Seguin.
I have never been to Burnt Bean. Have you? Burt?
I've never been to Burt or Burnt
How you doing,
Bean.
Mr. Burnt Bean?
Burnt Bean. I've eaten their food, but always it was at events where they were doing the catering. I've never actually physically been in their location. That is the only San Antonio area spot that makes the top 10, although 2 or 3, if you will, do make the top 50. 2M and Reese Brothers. And Pinkerton's makes the list for Houston, and even in the description it says if you're in San Antonio, go there, it's just as good. So I think we can count Pinkerton's, even though he's listed under Houston, but the San Antonio location gets a mention.
See, here's what I don't get about some of these things. And I'm sure all these places are great. I know Pinkerton's is great. It's fantastic. But is it one guy judging all these things?
No. There are 26 taste testers that visited 319 barbecue joints, all unannounced, so they just show up. And then the editor guy, he goes to double-check with the other people, and they have this spreadsheet and the scoring system, and Texas Monthly pays for all of it, even at $30 a pound for brisket. They're paying for all of it. So 26 taste testers.
All right.
319 barbecue joints.
I just know that, when you have judges, it can be, everybody's got different tastes.
They do.
Kind of like Rob Thompson and I judged the chili cook-off one time, and, well, it tastes like carne asada and not chili.
Yeah.
And so I'm just saying. But they won the year before.
It does depend. Well, what's interesting is when you look at reading the article from, say, the 2013 list, only 7 of the joints from that top 50 are still making the list now because, 1, the number of great barbecue places that have opened up across the state, but 2, you add in a lot more judges and a lot more options, and you go from there. That's one thing is, man, there are a lot of barbecue places that have opened up in the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah, no kidding. Some are much better than others. That is for sure. You ready to talk about the Jalen Ramsey guy? Maybe Chaean Williams will have an answer for us. Mother Football with Pro Football Talk. She joins us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You've got hockey playoffs tonight, NBA playoffs, WNBA going in full swing. You want to add more excitement to watching all those games, baseball, play it Underdog, man. One of the best sports apps out there for making your picks. Millions of fans have already won billions of dollars. So download the app, and all you have to do is choose higher or lower on predicted stats. You can play for as little as $1, and it's a lot of fun when you see your entry turning green. Download the Underdog app. Sign up using promo code STAR to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Again, promo code STAR at Underdog. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
The Morning Huddle.
I went through it, and they told me no one time.
They would never tell me no.
Oh, they will. Trust me.
Are you crazy? You think I'm an unfit cat parent?
You just had one die on you.
You son of a bitch.
The 2 cats you've had, one of them's dead.
How dare you?
You're batting 500.
How dare you?
I'm just saying.
You wouldn't bring up the time that a coyote ran off with your puppy?
That's been years ago.
But did it happen?
That was a puppy. I didn't say puppy. I'm just talking cat right here.
The Morning Huddle with AJ and Rob. Weekday mornings 6 to 10. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hunger striking, snack time calling, it's crunch time. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds brings you the boldest protein-packed crunch you can't resist with mouth-watering flavors like hot honey, sweet barbecue, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Why settle for chips when you can level up your snacking game? Plus, they're low-carb, high-protein, and made for adventurous appetites. Score big flavor today. Grab Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds at H-E-B.
Hey, San Antonio. Multiple tours overseas, years of protecting the country. It all adds up at University of Maryland Global Campus. Earn up to 90 credits for prior learning, military experience, and training toward our low-cost degree and certificate programs. We call that credit where credit is due. For over 75 years, our dedicated success coaches have been helping service members achieve their goals. Get started with local support and online and hybrid courses right here in San Antonio. Visit UMGC at San Antonio or umgc.edu/SATX.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ, J-O-E-Q, to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED. Your free online visit and save up to 95%. Go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Back on the Blitz. Back on the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagle. Jason Minix is here as well, and well, we have a very special guest.
Yeah, we do. Because, we got to find about Jalen Ramsey and his new house in Fort Worth. Chaean Williams from Pro Football Talk joining us here on the Buyers Barricades guest line. You love the rumor mill this time of year, don't you, Chaean?
It never stops, does it? It just keeps on churning. So, yeah, we have it churning right now.
Well, Chaean, it's interesting because I think the Cowboys could probably use something at cornerback, but I don't know if Jalen Ramsey would be the answer. It'd be nice to have. I think get fans excited, but not sure that that's the answer.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I mean, they can wish all they want that he was going to be the choice, but it's not going to happen. So they're weak at corner, and I do think they need another corner. They need some help there, whoever that may be. And there's still some veteran players out there, and there's still some trades available as well. So there's still some things they could do to help that position, but I do think they need help at that position. I don't think there's any question about that when you just start going down their depth chart and looking at who they have and their needs and who might not be back for the start of the season or at all this season. And obviously that's Diggs. I wouldn't expect him to play this year, and if he does, it's going to be late in the year, but he's not going to help you early in the year, and they know that. So I think that just leaves a weakness at corner. I think if they had re-signed Jordan Lewis, I think you'd be feeling really good about this roster from top to bottom right now because you'd have your nickel corner in there, one of the best in the NFL to do it. He was on my All-Pro ballot behind Derwin James. at that position. Thought he played very, very well last year. So if they had re-signed him, I think you have a different look at that position just because you know who's going to be your nickel corner, and you feel a little bit better about it.
Chaean Williams from Pro Football Talk joining us here on the Blitz. Now, while Jalen Ramsey and apparently bought a house in Fort Worth, but we don't even know if he's going to live there, if there's somebody else, whatever the case is. But when you look at some of the available free agents, veteran guys that haven't signed yet, like a Mike Hilton or a Rasul Douglas, do you think those are viable options for Dallas, or do you think they're more likely to make a trade?
No, I think those are viable options for him, and I think those are good options for him. You know, the more talent you can have, the more options you can have, especially at that position. You just need the depth, and I think they learned that last year with the injuries that they had at that position. So, I think that's probably the route they end up going there at that position, and I think it'll help them, and I think they'll ultimately be better and have more depth at that position than they have right now. But, we're going to see who that is and how that works out, but they definitely need some help before training camp gets here. Visiting with
Chaean Williams from Pro Football Talk, and well, I tell you what, if you look at this team right now, what they've done, at least on paper, Chaean, the offense looks pretty solid. I will say, I'm a big Javonte Williams fan. I think he's going to be, if he can stay healthy, I think he's going to be a good running back for the Cowboys, and obviously Pickens and all of that. It's the defense that bothers me, just because there are some question marks. DeMarvion Overshown, you might not have him for a while. That could be a question mark. You already mentioned Trayvon Diggs. Do you think the Cowboys just defensively overall will do anything else there?
I think they could. Will they? I don't know. They always have a tendency to go into training camp and say, well, we want to see what we have first, and then if we need something else, we'll supplement it. So I'm not going to be surprised if they do that, and they very well may, because that's kind of their MO of things. Well, let's see how it goes. Let's see how these guys look. Let's see how these young guys look, the guys we drafted, guys we signed as undrafted, rookies. Let's see how they do. So there may be some of that, too, and just wait it out. And if they have to make a trade later in August, then they do that. That's not going to surprise me if they do that. But there are guys out there who they can sign to help them. The question always is money, obviously, and how much does the player want, and how much are they willing to pay.
How much does Jerry and Steven look at a year like this, where they have made a lot of improvements, but even a Jalen Ramsey doesn't make them go from a playoff team to a Super Bowl contender? How much do they factor that in? Like, how good is this team really, or how much a player would make a difference on how good they ultimately could be?
Yeah, I think they do factor that in. They also factor in the cap, and if it's a player who's making a lot of money, it's not going to happen with what they have to pay CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott and Micah Parsons, and you would think that they're going to re-sign Bland and Aubrey, and they've got a lot of guys that they need to get signed over the next 2 years that are going to be pretty big contracts, you would think. So they got to get that done, and because of that, the big money guys they're not going to be a priority for the Cowboys, and they're not going to come, and they haven't been for a really long time. And they also look at, all right, we've got Dak Prescott tied up for this long, and CeeDee Lamb tied up, so this is kind of our window, and Micah Parsons, we're going to tie up this long. So this is our window, so we're building for next year and the year after. It's not just all about this year, and I do think they look ahead like that and say, all right, what do we have next year? What do we have the year after? And how long is this quote-unquote window going to stay open?
Well, Chaean Williams with ProFootballTalk.com, and that brings up something interesting, because when you look at what they did in free agency, most of the players that they signed are to one-year contracts. Is that Jerry just being cautious or making sure that he's got the money available to do that and can just do that from year to year?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they've done over the past 2 years. They've signed guys to one-year contract. Again, you have so many guys, so few guys, with a big percentage of your cap. Again, the three that we're talking about are just a big chunk of your cap. I didn't even mention Tyler Smith. You're going to have to re-sign him. So you've just got these huge contracts for a small number of core players. So you have to do something else. Like, you can't tie up money on other big name free agents and other big contracts. You just can't do that. That's just not how the cap works. So if you have this many players who either have gotten paid or will be paid over the next 2 years, then you have to cut back somewhere, and that's 1-year deals. And that's what they've done, and that's what they've done the past couple of years. That's what they're doing this year, and then they reassess after the year and try to get some low-cost guys. You look at it's not that different from what the Eagles did. The Eagles, Zach Bond made nothing last year, and he was an all-pro linebacker. He was huge, second team, all-pro linebacker. It's you have to cut back somewhere when you have guys on big contracts. But when I say cut back, well, you want a guy like Zach Bond who's going to step up and fill in and help you. And, the Cowboys have found some of those guys too. But that's what you have to have. You have to find some of those lower-end free agents, mid to lower-end free agents who are going to come in and be good players for you at a lower cost. You just have to do that because of the cap and what you have tied up, especially in your quarterback. With the quarterback eating that much of the cap, you've just got to find ways to get players who can contribute for you, not only contribute, but be good players for you at a low-end cost. And I think they've done that with Jack Sanborn. I think he's probably going to lead them in tackles. I think he's going to be an upgrade over what they had, and you're not paying him a ton of money.
Chaean Williams from Pro Football Talk joining us here on the Blitz. Now, Chaean, we didn't get a chance to visit last week. I'm curious your thoughts on everything Brian Schottenheimer has done in the idea of changing culture. And I know it's May and dude still has to win games come September, but overall, your thoughts on how he's handled his first couple months as head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
I think he's handled it great. I think he's won over some fans. Do I think they had a culture problem? I don't. I don't think that's any great thing that he's done there. I don't think that's going to make a bit of difference. I think it's what you put out on the football field and the players you have on your roster. That's what's going to make the difference. The 90s, you want to talk about culture, those 90s Cowboys, we know how many bad boys they had on that roster. I don't know that there was great quote-unquote culture in that locker room. They had great leadership. I don't know that they had great culture. I guess it depends on how you define culture, but they had great leaders. Culture doesn't win games. So I'm not concerned about that. I don't think they had a culture problem. I think it was fine with what Mike McCarthy did. I don't have any problem with how he built that team with what he had. He just didn't have a lot of players to work with last year, let's be honest.
No, he did not, and I thought he did a pretty good job, all being said and done, just winning 7 games with that roster that he had with all the injuries. All right, Chaean, I'm going to ask you, maybe you'll think it's a knucklehead question, I don't know. When it comes to Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones, in my opinion, at least to some extent, holds a lot of cards in this negotiation because he's got the franchise tag available. Do you see any scenario where Jerry lets Micah play this year on his current deal and then tags him next year?
Micah's not going to play on his current deal. He won't show up. He's not going to show up. He won't show up to training camp. He's not going to be there for the start of the season. He will not be there. It's not going to work. If that's what Jerry thinks he's going to do, it's not going to work. The thing you fear is that it's going to be CeeDee Lamb, and he's going to hold out all the way into the start of the season. CeeDee signed 12 days before the start of the season. And now you're asking Micah to come in. And again, you work out all you want. That's great. These guys work out on their own. That's fantastic. It's not football. You're not football ready when you go into a season, when you show up 12 days before the season. There's a reason they have the off-season program. There's a reason they have OTA. There's a reason they have the mandatory minicamp. There's a reason they have training camp. There's a reason they play the preseason. All those things. They don't just do it to do it. They do it to get you ready to play the season. And when you show up 12 days before the start of the season, you're not going to be ready for the start of the season. But he's not playing there's no possible way he is showing up under this contract. No possible way. I think they're going to extend it out, and it's going to get done sometime in August, just like they've done everything else they've done. And again, whatever he signs into, whatever the guarantees are, the fully guaranteed money, Jerry's got to put that money in escrow. Mm-hmm. So he's got to take what, 70, 80, 90, whatever the millions it is, he's got to put that money in escrow. So I think that's why this thing hasn't been done yet, is they're extending that out before he has to put that money in escrow. That's just my thought on it. I don't know that. It's just my guess why this hadn't gotten done. When they sit down to do it, it's not going to take very long to get this contract done. It's not. They have it. They have Jamar Chase's contract right in front of him. It's just a little more money than what Jamar Chase is making in annual average. That's it. It's a simple contract.
It seems simple, and it kind of feels like, at one point not long ago, there were reports of a handshake deal, but David Mulligetta needed to get involved. And then, of course, Jerry's, I don't even know his agent's name. Well, and again, it makes sense. Jerry's got to put that money in escrow. He'd rather have it in his account and instead of that account. But it seems like he does this to all of his star players, and it's so unnecessary.
Yeah, and it does not have goodwill for these players. I mean, they don't enjoy not showing up with their teammates and working out on their own and doing all those things. They want to be there, and they want to be working out. For all the hubbub of, Micah Parsons has shown up, he hasn't been there the whole time. Let's be clear about that. He has not been there the whole time. He's been in and out of the off-season workouts. He's done more than he's done in the past, but he hasn't been there every day, and he hasn't done the on-field stuff. And he said that. He basically said that he wasn't doing any on-field stuff until he gets his contract done. So he's not going to be there until Jerry gets that thing signed, not just a handshake agreement, but when Jerry gets that thing signed, then that's when you're going to see Micah show up.
And I understand why. We get reports today that Joey Bosa was hurt and is going to be sidelined until training camp. So anything can happen when you get out there on that field. So I don't blame Micah Parsons at all. It's just an interesting scenario why Jerry continues to do what he does with his star players.
Absolutely. And there's no reason, again, other than putting the money in escrow. It's the only reason you wouldn't already have Micah Parsons signed, just like you wouldn't have signed CeeDee Lamb earlier than what you did, and Dak Prescott earlier. Now, Dak was there. I get that. But nonetheless, there's a reason they extend these contracts out, and that's my guess of why it is.
And again, it just seems so unnecessary. At the very least, get it done right before training camp. And maybe Mike and Mulligetta know, like, hey, I can't sign this until this day, and here's why. And you go, okay, because it doesn't seem bitter at this point, but it always seems to get to the bitter point before Jerry says, well, this much money will make you smile, won't it?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Oh, I tell you what. Well, Chaean, we appreciate it. Always nice talking to you about all things Dallas Cowboys, and there's never a lack of content.
There's not. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. Appreciate it. The great Chaean Williams. Make sure you follow her on Twitter at NFL Chaean. Read her at ProFootballTalk.com. All our guests on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at BuyersBarricades.com.
Jason, we just got something handed to us. It was kind of a surprise, and it is a nice surprise. If you would like to win a pair of tickets to go see Styx, Kevin Cronin Band, and Don Felder, the Brotherhood of Rock Tour, it is June 4th, live at June 4th at the Germania Insurance Amphitheater in Austin. Then all you have to do is be caller number 9 at 656-3776, 656-ESPN. It is Live Nation's $30 ticket to summer. So if you don't win tickets, you can buy them for $30.
Nice.
That's a pretty good deal.
That's a hell of a deal.
I love Styx. Even as old men, they are pretty good.
On a Wednesday night.
On a Wednesday night. What else you doing on a Wednesday? It's summertime.
That's it.
Yeah. So caller number 9 at 656-3776, 656-ESPN. You're going to get a pair of tickets to see Styx, Kevin Cronin Band, Don Felder, and the Brotherhood of Rock Tour. We're going to talk NBA playoffs when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
I'm solo again. Did the Knicks manage it, or are the Pacers marching toward the NBA Finals? We'll look at what went down. We'll get you ready for more playoff action. And the NFL is just 100 days away. We're talking about it. Get here early. The party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you? I just wanted to request a late checkout, please.
Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours.
Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours.
Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Have you ever closed your eyes and pictured owning a piece of the Texas coast? Ocean views, world-class fishing off of Matagorda Bay? Well, dream no more. Saturday, June 7th, Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point is dropping the final release of these incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1 to 3 acre properties, all with ocean access for just $49.9. You heard correctly, $49.9. This gated community has a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch, even boat and RV storage, plus paved roads and underground utilities. It's the whole shebang. It's all happening Saturday, June 7th. 1 to 3 acres with ocean access, just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9. Call now for your private tour at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing. Don't wait another minute. Call 832-662-0389. Texas coastal land has never been this affordable.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. Jason Minix here from San Antonio Sports Star. You can do that with Orchard. Orchard puts cash into your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday 1. Then you buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom, payday 2. Learn how you can make more with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, who's a good boy? Oh, who's what? Oh,
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
When it comes to results, the numbers speak for themselves.
Thomas J. Henry secured over $1 billion for clients in the past 4 years and successfully represented thousands of injured Texans. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust. San Antonio, Texas.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
Love hearing that music. It's good music. Very nice.
It means it's almost dinner time.
That's exactly what it means, and we're happy about that, getting hungry. That's all right. We got some stuff to do. This is The Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel. He's Jason Minix, and I'm a little concerned about tonight's game, and I'll tell you why, Jason. That line opened up at 2.5, Indiana minus. ESPN now has it at minus 3.5. That means the money's going on the Pacers.
Yeah. Pacers looking to take a 3-1 series lead, total control of this. I don't know. The Pacers haven't won a game 3 all postseason, and they didn't play well in game 3. But almost, I don't know. It's not like the Knicks were just dominant. Not like the Timberwolves were just dominant in game 3 against Oklahoma City. I mean, they end up winning 106-100. Solid road win for them. But also, they're letting Dad back in the building. I mean, this is going to be a Pops Halliburton legacy game is how it's been described. That guy's going to just add all the energy for the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's going to get a hero's welcome.
He is.
Tonight. He will. The Indiana Pacer fans will cheer him on and bring him back. Pacers did get some good news just a few minutes ago. Aaron Nesmith is available to play. He walked off in Game 3 with a sprained ankle, but apparently he got enough shots and he doesn't feel it and he can play tonight.
You know, I saw Rick Carlisle said that he's not on a minutes restriction, but if he is struggling out there, then he certainly would be pulled right away. I mean, will that make a huge difference? He has in this series, but he's had his one game. I look to me, this is all about the Knicks. You know, Jalen Brunson has to be Jalen Brunson, and Karl Anthony Towns. Cat has to be the guy, and he's up and down. And it almost sometimes, and I was reading an article earlier where Tibbs doesn't trust him enough.
Well, I mean, you kind of have to trust him, right? He's one of your studs.
Uh-huh.
And the guy, you have to trust him. The other problem is Tibbs will take Brunson out of the game for defensive purposes.
Mm-hmm.
They'll do the same with Cat. And I just think when it comes down to the playoffs, you want your best 5 on the floor as much as you possibly can. The big guy, Robinson, has been playing fantastic basketball, just being a rebounder and a defensive presence. So he's been playing well. I just don't think the Knicks have the horses, and I think Indiana wins this game. I can't see them losing 2 games at home.
Although you got to give the Knicks a ton of credit for being down and having that big comeback the other day. And again, did Indiana chuck that away at home? Yeah, you could say that. But the Knicks have been really good on the road this postseason. It's almost as if they are more focused on the road than when they're playing at home. But Indiana's the better team. I look at that line in 3.5. Man, I like the Pacers.
Well,
I like the Pacers and the line.
Dude, I had Oklahoma City -3 last night. What was the final? Yeah, they only won by 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 3 points can make a difference.
That free throw late.
Well, exactly.
But again, finally we had a good game in the Western Conference Finals. The first 3 were blowouts.
Yes.
Not even competitive. Last night was a fun basketball game all the way through, and I do think you get that tonight. Knicks Pacers, especially in the second half, a game you can listen to here on 94.1 starting at 6:30 after extra innings with Pledge. But you look at this, at least has been a fairly competitive series because it's the conference finals. I don't want to see blowouts. And last night we had a hell of a basketball game all the way to the end. And, yeah, it ended up being 2, that free throw that SGA missed late.
Yeah.
Boy, that made a lot of people nervous. And at least one person I know now pissed. But that, I mean, think about it. If he makes that free throw, it's 4-point game.
It is.
It's just the final 40 some odd seconds are completely different.
That's what happens. It's a gambling issue.
So you think 2-point game tonight?
No, I don't. I think Indiana wins this one, and they win it well. I just can't see them losing 2 games at home, honestly. And I think they're going to come out. They're just too much for the Knicks, and I believe that's going to show again tonight. Now, whether the Knicks can take this back and win a Game 5 remains to be seen. That wouldn't surprise me, although the Knicks have been better on the road in these playoffs than they have at home, it seems. But I just can't see Indiana losing 2 games at home. I think tonight's going to be electric in Indiana.
What I want to see, and let's just go to Tyrese Halliburton.
Uh-huh.
He's got to be, for 48 minutes, or at least all 4 quarters when he's out there, he's got to be the star. You know, it's like Anthony Edwards last night took, 2 shots in the first half?
Yeah.
He finishes with 13. You've got to be a superstar. Jalen Brunson, I know, is going to do that. Halliburton, especially in the second half, he wasn't aggressive, and that allowed the Knicks to get back in there. It's the Eastern Conference Finals for them. Your superstars have to play like superstars. They've got to command the ball, demand the ball, and take those shots, make those shots. And, you know, he said after the game the other day that, you know, things got kind of stagnant and, you know, he kind of, I don't want to say he didn't say he checked out, but, you know, you can take what he said and say, did he check out? I mean, was he being too passive? What do you mean? You can't do that. You're the star. You've got to carry this team. Your dad's going to be in the building. Free Pops. Can't believe the NBA let him in.
Well, he's kind of free, right? He has to sit in a suite, though. No courtside seats. He can't be out in the open, so they're going to put him in a suite. But he is allowed back in the arena.
Your punishment, you got to go to the suite.
I got to go to a suite.
It's probably catered, too.
I'm sure it's catered, and there'll be adult beverages, I'm sure, in there, and all kinds of good stuff. But at least he gets to be in the building, and that's kind of cool. He made a really bad knucklehead mistake, but he will be in there. And I guarantee you, the over and under tonight, what's the over and under on how many times – what's this game on TNT? Will show Mr. Halliburton in the suite.
Let's go with the actual line, 3.5.
3.5. So over or under?
3.5. I'm going to go over. It's going to be now. Is it the actual game or the broadcast? Because I'm sure they'll show him on the pregame show.
I'm sure they will.
But then they're going to have to show him early in the first quarter. He's up there. And
every time Tyrese does something special, they'll show Pops.
Well, I'll say at least twice.
Yeah.
And because Pops does play to the camera. So it's not like the Taylor Swift shot where is she doing anything other than sitting there. Pops is going to be dancing. He's going to be, you know, cheering. He's going to, you know, they might even put a spotlight on him just so everybody in the building knows which suite he is in.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sure they will do that. I don't think there's any question about that. It's going to be fun. It'll see if that makes any difference. But I look for Indianapolis to be electric tonight, and I think that's going to make a difference. I think Halliburton will come in and play better. I'm going with the Pacers tonight to win this thing. I'm just ready to get on to OKC Indiana in the finals beginning June 5th.
All right. Well, I mean, you look at tomorrow night. Oklahoma City can close out Minnesota at home.
Yep.
If the Pacers go up 3-1. You just wonder with the Knicks. I know they're going to be going home for the next one, but you just wonder what they're going to have left. And does Indiana show that killer instinct and put them out of their misery?
Well, they won 2 games in New York already in Madison Square Garden, so there you have it. I think it's going to be interesting. OKC, Indiana, let's go.
The injury update, let's do that. Brought to you by our friends at the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine online at TSAOG.com. Dr. Jeffrey Schroff joining us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. And let's start with the game tonight. Turned ankle the other night, no minutes restriction. They're going to see how they're going. If you've got a sprained ankle like Naismith does, and your coach says no minutes restriction, but he's just going to keep an eye on you, as a medical guy, what are you actually looking for?
So really it comes down to, we grade these injuries based on the degree of swelling. Sometimes you can get a sense of the amount of laxity to the ligaments to see what grade of an injury to the ligaments there is. if it's a low-grade injury, which it sounds like this one is, it can be, you can be fairly aggressive on getting guys back. The main thing that would limit him would just be, is he going to have pain or worsening swelling that's going to impact his performance?
Well, Doc,
so that's what I'd be looking for.
I'm sorry. It brings up a good question though. With a sprained ankle like that, you mentioned the pain. First, number one, is there anything a doctor there could do for the pain? And what have they been doing with Neesmith? Do they put the electrodes on him or any kind of fancy medical technology that he's been undergoing over the last couple of days?
Yeah, so more than likely they're going to have him in some kind of brace to provide some stability. For short-term just pain relief, you can always turn to anti-inflammatory medications, and a lot of times these guys will get Toradol shots intramuscularly, which will help a lot with inflammation and swelling. There may be a role for biologics if you're really trying to push somebody back, PRP or things like that. But some of those things take a little bit of time. So for him, it's mostly just going to be about, putting a lot of ice on there to get the swelling down, some kind of brace to provide him with some stability while he's recovering, and then, maybe some NSAIDs or Toradol or something to help him push through that pain a little bit.
So that's kind of it. Because he goes from a Sunday night with a very noticeable limp to you're good to go tonight. He can't feel his foot is what you're telling us.
Yeah, and that's kind of the reality of things. And with an injury like a sprained ankle, the risk of him doing, further damage to himself where it's going to impact his career long term isn't as high. If it's a higher grade injury or like a high ankle sprain, then maybe, but if it's just a simple kind of low grade lateral ankle sprain, if you can kind of tune him up with some medications and get him feeling good and get him to play through it, he'll probably be okay. And then, in the off season, he'll have some time to rehab back.
Well, that's all. We will watch him tonight, that's for sure. Dr. Jeffrey Schroff joining us here. The Injury Update powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG. Doc, I want to turn to football. I'm excited about the Cowboys' new running back, Javonte Williams. I think he's going to be a good player for them. Yeah, obviously, the poor guy has struggled. He tore his ACL, LCL, and posterior lateral corner, whatever that is, in 2022. And it's been a struggle to come back. Obviously, that's been almost 3 years ago. Can this guy come back and be just regular and ready to go? He says he feels great.
Yeah, so I'm it's encouraging to hear him say that he feels back to normal, and I think he alluded to the fact that everybody heals and recovers differently from these types of injuries. Anytime when you're talking about an ACL injury in and of itself, that's a tough injury to recover from, but we know we have good data to show there's good return to sport after appropriate surgery for that. When you add in what's called a multi-ligamentous injury where he's injured his LCL and posterior lateral corner, then that complicates things, and the return to play or return to sport is a little bit less sure. If it's treated appropriately, it can still have good outcomes. So if he's feeling good, then I think that's a good sign. But I think ultimately time will tell. It is a tough injury to recover from. So, the fact that it took him a couple years to kind of get back to where he's feeling good is not that surprising.
All right, so 3 years, and again, you're a doc, and we talk sports. Says he's 100% and feeling completely like myself, going through everything that he went through. Could he ever be what he was, or is he as good as he's going to get right now?
Just kind of speaking frankly, I think after an injury like that, you're probably never going to get quite back to 100%. But I think, 90% is certainly doable. And for someone who played, at his level, then that may be, good enough. So it's hard to know for sure. Like I said, tough injury to come back from. But yeah, I think time will tell with that one.
That's going to be interesting. I would assume the fact that he's only 25 years old and this happened when he was 22, it's got to make a little bit of a difference, doesn't it, Doc?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Younger guys, kind of earlier in his career, he has more motivation, number one, but also he's accumulated less injuries over time. So, if he's put in the work in his rehab, then I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, the good and the bad. Now, Doc, the WNBA took quite a blow this week when it was announced that Caitlin Clark's going to be out at least 2 weeks with a quad strain. They're on line 3 wanting to know how can they lessen that time frame. How do you speed up recovery on a quad strain because the entire league needs Caitlin Clark healthy?
Yeah, I was. It's probably a big impact to their viewership. I know that. Yeah, I mean, a quad strain is similar to the lateral ankle sprain. It mostly just comes down to, how much pain and discomfort they're going to have and what grade of an injury. Hopefully it's low grade. And then, the same type of thing applies, just allowing it to rest, doing the appropriate stretches and rehab techniques to try to get her back, controlling the swelling and the pain. But, definitely not something that's going to sideline her for too long. But I think, it'll probably be kind of a week-by-week thing, but they're probably saying 2 weeks minimum at this point, which I think is reasonable for that type of injury.
Dr. Jeffrey Schroff, always appreciate the knowledge and insight. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. I appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate it. Our injury update powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine, online at TSAOG.com. Dr. Schroff and all our guests on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com.
So you're going to go hockey tonight over basketball?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
Well, it's a big game for the Stars.
Huge game. Jake's got to play well tonight. Otto's got to play well, but the defense in front of him has to. And good Lord, the Dallas Stars just need to score. I know it's simple enough to say, but they need to score.
So, must win?
It very much is a must-win game. If they go down 3-1, even though, the series will shift back to Dallas, Edmonton's a tough place to play. But, yeah, hockey on the big TV, basketball on the little TV in the living room tonight.
Well, that ought to be interesting. And since I don't have a setup like you do, it's a very sweet setup, by the way. I saw it again firsthand the other night. Very, very nice setup.
I had hockey and basketball.
It did.
And at one point, basketball got so bad, everybody there was like, put hockey on the big TV.
Well, yeah.
Except you.
Well, I didn't because I had money on the game, and I could just see, somebody coming back and screwing me right there. So it'll be okay. I may tune over during commercials, something. Maybe put it on, to what do you call that thing?
Split screen?
Split screen?
Yes, you could do that.
I could do that.
Yeah.
I have that capability.
Yeah.
All right.
Bragger.
All right. You don't have that capability?
Not on the Magic Box. You do on YouTube TV.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. See, I still have both. So
yeah, bragger.
I'll probably do that.
Yeah.
I am, actually.
Go Stars.
Since that TV of yours is about 20 years old, I mean, you don't have that capability.
It has nothing to do with the TV.
It has nothing to do.
All right, well, 20 years old. It's one of those big old, it's got, it takes 4 feet in the back. You remember those?
With the old tube, right? Absolutely.
No, that's not what I have.
Pledge, you got a show tonight.
I do.
All right. We got NBA basketball for you right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, beginning at 6:30. Until then, it is Extra Innings with Pledger. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Riding home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM, Floresville.